It's a nuclear device. Time is running out. Time is running out. Gentlemen, it's a nuclear device. Time is running out. Time is running out.
Creation of the humanoids.
Power to overwhelm and destroy. The product of a tortured brain.
Creation of the humanoids.
Power to overwhelm and destroy. The product of a tortured brain.
Feeling of helplessness is your best friend, savage.
Greetings, what is up and a very warm welcome to the channel. Now, this is actually a relatively interesting game, so I'm actually going to delay Midday Magpie for just a minute or two here. I've been the underdog for like 10 minutes here, and he's still not killed me, and there is the distant prospect that I might actually be able to pull off a win here. And that would be so amusing that I feel compelled to let this one play out, so that's what I'm going to do. So I need to kill this before his next upkeep, so now's the best time to do it. Let's do that. Alright. Oh! It ain't over yet. As long as I keep drawing cyclists, which is kind of what my deck is made of. Ooh, that's an interesting one to have gotten. Hello. Yes. That's really good, actually. I don't know, man. He's got no cards in hand. I don't even know how we're going to win the game, but now I'm getting 2 fairy tokens a turn. And he can't attack me because of this flourishing fox. So we're just going to... I'm sorry to delay Midday Magpie. I've got a cracking game lined up for everybody. Company of Heroes 2 is on the way, but I just want to play this one out. Alright, so he does nothing. That actually suits me. So I just take my turn. That's a really bad draw for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shit, that's really bad. Alright, we're going to have to... We're going to have to do this. Oh, God. Well, that's pretty bad as well. Alright, we're going to be obliged to pay 2 of our life here to not die. Alright, buddy, it's your move, friend? I'm on 8. What have you got? That's really good. That's really good. Now he's drawing a lot of cards. And cards are what we did not want him to be drawing. Thanks for waiting, guys. It's just a really interesting game we found ourselves in here. Alright, so once again, I am obliged to kill off this thing before it gets too big. There. Oh, it's another land! This is really bad. If we keep drawing lands, we're definitely done for. Okay, alright, that's a real card. That'll do. So we discard that one. I actually think we should start attacking now. 1, 2, 3, 3 attacks. Right, I'm just going to hold this in hand for now because it depends what we draw next turn. Alright. Okay, guy. Alright, we just have to hope he doesn't draw like Liliana or something. If he draws fucking Liliana, we're dead. Oh, no, we can handle that. That's not good enough, mate. So what have you got? What have you got, bro? It's going to have to be better than Knight of the Ebon Legion, mate, I'll tell you. Here we go. What's your last card, friend? What's going on over there, Ricardus? Ooh, he got nothing left. Okay, he's going to attack. Isn't that just a 2-1? I smell a trap. Alright, hang on a second. Let me just count. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 8 mana, so that is enough to deal him 8 damage on his turn. And then if we attack... I think we actually might win this. Watch this. So we make a block. Block. Now we see what he does. What do you want to do over there, mate? Okay, he just lets it happen. So then we sacrifice this. And we deal him 2 damage to the face, which is going to be worrying for him. That is eyebrow raising, because we are now going for your face, matey. So now I think we deal him 4 damage in the air, and then we kill him. No way! No way! I think we actually have the win here. Lol. Let me just check that I'm not going to screw this up. Alright, here we go then. Let's tell him good game. You know about it, friend. What's that last card in hand, though? He's still got a card over there. So we go in with the flyers. Okay, he can't block. That puts him to 6. And then, are you dead? Good game. Yeah, I think he realizes it. Either that or he's got something really good in hand. 3, 4. Okay, alright. And then I deal you 2. If he's got some life gain in hand, we are dead. And then we deal you 2. Actually, we're not as dead as I think, because I can still cycle another card. Alright, and then we deal you 2. Are you dead? Are you dead? He's opting to kill himself. That's hilarious. He goes out on his own terms. Goes out on his own terms. Oh, what a win! God damn, sick game. Alright, nice. Okay, thank you very much for waiting, everybody. I appreciate that everyone's queued up, waiting for some Company of Heroes 2, and that is not what I'm delivering to you right now. Oh yeah, we got some gold. Alright. Good stuff indeed. Alright, thank you very much for waiting, everyone. As I quit on out of that. Greetings! What is up, and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is hiding and the Magpie is casting. Coming to you guys right now with some Midday Magpie, slightly delayed by 6 minutes, for which I do apologise, but I think it was worth it for taking such a sick win. That's a new deck that I'm not used to that I was playing there, and he was spanking me for like a long time, and I just persisted and then was able to organise a comeback, so that's pretty cool. Okay, let's see. I don't think there's anything particularly to talk about. We've just, it's business as usual, so why don't we just crack straight on in to the Company of Heroes 2! Alrighty, and hopefully we've got a smashing game lined up here. So we've got, spawning in the south as the OKW forces, who are a relatively rare beast these days. It's going to be Tiramichit, who I'm reliably informed is Panzer Grenadier and Griffin. Spawning in the north. As the British forces, it will be Apathy Prime, who's going to go ahead and pick the Vanguard Operations Regiment. So for the longest time, my favourite UKF commander. No longer my favourite, but definitely still delivers a lot of goods, this one. So there we go. Yeah, that is in Griffin. He has a rivalry with Tiramisu. Yeah, it's great to see. Hey, he's using Feuersturm again. We've seen him use Feuersturm just yesterday, I believe it was. So, okay, yep, clearly digging the Feuersturm stuff. And we're going to see what he's going to get done, exactly who he's going to light up with the expanded fiery arsenal available to him here. Apathy Prime is not a player that I've cast before under this screen name. I did have a quick look at the Steam profile, and I was unable to, divine their identity. So we cannot tell who exactly this might be. But whatever, we're just gonna let it rock. If they're getting matched up against PGA, then they got to be pretty decent, you have to think. So, time will tell. Oh, god damn, it's been a busy week. Datton, my friend, welcome aboard. What's going on, man? Oh, I don't know if you were watching just now, but the old Magpie took a sick win on the MTG ladder. That's what we like. That's what we like. Got problems with your tendons, inflammatory disorders, got RSI? No worries, you can play turn-based games and it won't hurt your tendons. So there we go, that's what I was doing. But yeah, we took a sick win. Alright, now it looks like a pretty standard game so far. It will be a universal carrier opening here for Apathy Prime. It's a double Storm Pioneer, as we're used to seeing from Tiramichit or PGA. On account of this being the Feuersturm Doctrine, and you can upgrade those geezers with the Flammenwerfer 35, so making an already potent close-range combat squad more so. And it's going to be double Volks Grenadier at the moment. It's interesting, because when I see players open double Storm Pioneers outside of the Feuersturm Doctrine, it's usually for some Kubel shenanigans. Like double Kubel, double Storm Pioneers is an interesting way of opening the game, but obviously you don't need to go double Kubelwagen. What I'm saying is, clearly, there are synergies between the Kubelwagen and the Storm Pioneers, right? Because the Storm Pioneers can repair the Kubelwagen really quickly, and Kubelwagens are kind of good in the early stages of the game. So, I wonder what this build would look like if PGA went for some Kubelwagens into it. I don't know. Probably not very good. I mean, you do need Volks Grenadiers, to be honest, but you know, if you can make it happen outside of Firestorm, then surely doing it with the Feuersturm Doctrine is even better, because those Pioneers that you get as part of that strat are, like, a little bit better. I don't know, it's not really like anyone does double Kubel openings anymore. But if you're going to do it, I mean, against UKF is pretty good. So, I don't know. Co-Master League. What's going on, friend? Have I seen you in chat before? Thanks very much for joining us anyway. I don't think I've seen you. You're a new face around here. Welcome aboard. Here comes that Bren Carrier. I'm your moderator. When did this happen? Of course I've seen you. Alright. New face, a moderator. Did I mod you way back in the day or something? Like when I was casting ages ago? Yeah, maybe I do have brain injury. Thanks for feeding me soup. Dudes, I'm not going to lie to you all. This has been a really tough week for me. This has been a super busy week. I was working really hard yesterday and I was up early this morning doing yet more work. So I didn't get the sleep I needed last night. So clearly I'm having some sort of brain injury relating to everything. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm clearly having a brain injury. All right. Cool. Well, whatever. One way or another, I'm still glad that you're there in chat. So, all right, I've got yeah. So okay, we've got a Kettenwerfer out that's going to help deal with the universal carrier. We've got Quad Tommy here with medkits. I love that. Have I seen you in chat before? I'm your moderator. Oh yeah, nice. Okay, all right. Oh my god, is this going to be one of those days where I just am incapable of casting but still attempt it nevertheless? We're going to find out. We are going to find out. I don't know. I mean, you say you've got to remember Orange Pest, but here's the thing. I actually have this strange thing. This is why you don't name change temporarily. Oh, he's changed his name. Well then, okay, but like all considerations aside, I actually do have a sort of a problem remembering non-logical labels, if that makes sense. So, I am like as a child. This is an example. As a child, I could never remember the order of the days of the week, and even now, as an adult, I struggle to get the months in the correct order because, except for October, there's no logic, and even October is not the 8th one. There's no logic to the order which they come, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There's nothing in those names that tells you what order they should be in. They are essentially named at random, as far as I'm concerned. And any name in the world, unless there's a logical connection, like Company of Heroes is a name that I can remember because it's a World War II war game that's about company-level combat. That's the recycling happening outside, by the way, if you can hear the tremendous amount of clanking. I hope it's not too much. So, like, yeah, I literally, even now, I probably couldn't list off the order of the months in order, like, or even, I might not even be able to name all 12 of them. And that's not because I haven't tried, but I just genuinely, my brain has a great difficulty latching onto, like, information which has no clue as to what it's attached to. So I have this little thing. Oh, it's actually not right next to me, but I have a little book that as soon as I meet new people, because it's so embarrassing for me, I write down their name immediately, and something about the act of writing it down makes it much more easy for me to remember, so that's like my little workaround. Yeah, I have these little books that I use for these things. So anyway, there we go. Now you know a little bit more about Magpie. I'm not very good at remembering names, because I don't know what it is. I have a real difficulty remembering names. So anyway, right, enough about that. MG34 will be a valid addition, and the Opel Blitz truck is out. Now, going to be using that for medical mode. This is essentially a 3/4 ton ambulance. How much does this thing cost? Yeah, it's like relatively comparable in cost. It's pretty cheap. Nice thing for OKW to have access to be honest. Now, it's going to be an AEC build here from Apathy Prime, which, I don't know, I'd probably say it's like 60-40, whether UKF players go for AECs. We see them more often than not, I feel like. So yeah, an AEC is going to be coming out here. Not a lot for it to do, to be honest, unless he fancies taking a dive into the base to find the Blitz. Seems unlikely, though. Oh, thank you very much, Thalismara. Yeah, this is not a bad shirt, is it? Yeah. As bad as I am at remembering names, my shirt game is on point. I have a decent collection of shirts for many occasions. Anyway, MP40s are on these Volks Grenadiers. That's pretty cool. Feuersturm stuff is arriving on the battlefield. Apathy Prime is going to be trying to tech up and hopefully get to company command post as soon as he has the fuel. It's all fairly straightforward, to be honest, so far this game. And Bren Carrier has been doing decently enough. Hasn't even been threatened so far, actually, so that's reasonable. What does this thing actually do with veterancy? Weapon burst length and accuracy. Increase acceleration speed, so that's a mobility one, and crew repair improved. Sight radius increased by 20%. Okay, interesting. So some very interesting veterancy abilities on the Universal Carrier. Here comes the AEC. I'm not sure what I make of this UKF skin, like, at all. Yeah, Datton, it is a weird camo, huh? Like, what is up with that? Puma! Oh, wow, it's Mechanized Reg. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. It's Mechanized Reg. Okay, we're going to have a Puma. Oh, wow, it's going to be Scout Car Showdown here. A sort of light armored Scout Car Showdown as the Puma. That seems like a fantastic choice because you know that your opponent already has the AEC. You know your opponent has the Universal Carrier. Those are both beautiful targets for a Puma. And, you know, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The Puma, one of those units that the earlier you can get it, the earlier you can start vetting it up. It really does transform into a bit of a monster. Like, I would rather have a 3-star Puma than a Sherman. Like, or I would rather have a 3-star Puma than any T-34. I'd probably rather have a 3-star Sherman than most Panzer IVs if I'm using it for anti-vehicle purposes. Like, they're just so good. The range, the rate of fire, the penetration, they're very, very good. That's my opinion. So here comes the Puma. It's immediately going to reveal itself here. Apathy Prime will know what's up. Bonk takes a shot, but the AEC is going to be stationary, so that accuracy beneficial there. And, oh, the AEC is getting totally the upper hand here, and it will 3-shot the Puma, I believe. Oh, anti-vehicle grenade connecting from the Royal Engineer Squad, so that Puma on death's door already. Nice opening engage there. Apathy Prime not going to be able to complete the kill, and there are some Storm Pioneers right there, so they're going to get to work on the repair. But that is not the start to life you want for the Puma, but it's okay, it survived, it's alive. What is this smoke coming down from? Was that the smoke from the Volks? Oh, sick, yeah. So more Feuersturm stuff coming down here. What is this? Provides the squad and replaces their incendiary grenades with HE and smoke. Okay, so that's part of the MP40 package that the Feuersturm Doctrine lets you get. Do they all have MP40s, or is it just 2 of them? No, they literally all have MP40s. Dude, Feuersturm is hench. I'm just going to say it. Feuersturm's got some stuff going on, man. I think Volks Grenadiers with MP40s with the Feuersturm Doctrine, I kind of think I prefer them to Assault Grenadiers. Maybe? Like, asterisk, possibly? Magpie has not fully thought this out. Hey, what does everyone make of this double Puma? What is going on with that? As I pour myself a cup of tea, we got double Puma. Huh. Okay. I'm not sure about the double Puma, if I'm honest. I guess with a double Puma, you really do win this vehicle war. But yeah, look, see, the British player's already got a QF6 pounder. So I don't know. This seems like a weird map to use double Puma on as well, because you don't have that much room to maneuver and kite and stuff. A-Game pretty skeptical about investing into heavily micro-based units like that. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, because, in a way, I think 2 Pumas is okay. You can definitely micro 2 Pumas and the rest of your army and still be okay, but it is taxing, and if you fuck up for a moment, that's it. That's game, isn't it? I mean, well, it's not game, but it's pretty bad times. So, yeah. I think double Puma is totally acceptable, but I don't think it's that great on Langreskaya, to be honest. That's what I think. But we'll see if it's going to work out. I'll tell you what, if we're going double Puma into Stuka-Zafus or Werferman, then I think I do quite like that, but we'll see. My problem with the double Puma is that you're delaying your tech. That's my real issue with it, by another 70 fuel, and that's a lot. So that's the real danger for me, is delaying the tech by 70 fuel. But if you never wanted to get that tech, because screw it, you're just going to go for a Stuka-Zafus anyway, and just play double Puma infantry based with Stuka-Zafus, well, I think that's actually doable. And then that's a composition I'm happy with. So even though you've delayed your tech a lot there, as long as you can keep the double Puma and the Stuka-Zafus alive, then I'm happy to tech behind that, because that's actually really slippery and annoying for UKF to deal with. And UKF actually, I mean, they don't actually have anything that really wants to fight double Puma. Like Cromwell, not really. You're just feeding the Pumas. Firefly, iffy. I mean, Firefly is reasonable, but the Pumas are really good at killing Fireflies, let's face it. Comet, again, Comet's probably best there. You've got the armor, you've got the range, you've got the hitting power, but I mean, 2 Pumas can still really frustrate and even kill a Comet, so I don't know. Maybe double Puma against UKF is actually fine. Actually, I'm not. The more I think about it, the more I think that UKF don't really want to be fighting Pumas. Yeah, that's really interesting. Because against Soviets, well, Soviets have options that just don't really care about the Puma. Like the Su-85 is just like, no to Pumas. I mean, I know Pumas beat an Su-85, but assuming the Su-85 is well microed and properly supported, those Pumas really shouldn't have an opportunity, and the Su-85 just keeps them away. Especially on Langreskaya. And if you're playing as USF... actually, you know what? USF don't really want to be fighting double Puma that much either. Alright, I'm slowly warming to double Puma the more I think about it. As long as you have proper machine gun and infantry support, that's the thing. Because as soon as Bren guns start popping up on these Tommies, then the UKF infantry is going to be kind of real, and that could be tricky. Anyway, for now though, I do like the composition. And it's nice to see a Feuersturm composition, isn't it? We've got a flamethrower on these guys, we've got triple MP40s on these Volksgrans, we've got the Blitz providing healing back at base. This is all really cool stuff. And you know what, actually? Here's the thing. Feuersturm lets you go into Mechanized Regiment without having to worry about not having medics in your base, doesn't it? That's, like, really cool. Because obviously one of the really nice things that just helps your army run really smoothly with OKW when you go for Battle Gripper HQ is having those medics. And actually with Feuersturm you get to go Mechanized Reg and still have medics without having to side tech, which is like, nobody wants to side tech with OKW. You're not doing that until later on when you're thinking about KT. So that's pretty cool actually, isn't it? Okay, Feuersturm. Every time I see Feuersturm, it grows on me. Oh, hang on. You know what would go really well with double Puma? Actually, Flamhetzer. That is actually legit. There is synergy there. Or even just Panzer II, but I mean, you might as well use the Flamhetzer for the style points, right? So, okay, interesting stuff. I believe the Flamhetzer does have, like, more health and armor than the Panzer II, right? So, then I do prefer it over a Panzer II. How much is a Flamhetzer? Come on, HUD. There we go. Oh, where do you build it from? Oh, it comes from the Schwerpanzer HQ? Damn. Alright, 90 fuel and 300 manpower, so it's not cheap. It is not cheap. But it's not too expensive either. It's approximately stug money. Prime Clarity. Is this you, Apathy Prime? Oh, I see. Well, welcome to chat, friend, but please no spoilers. Spoilers would be bad. That's why I like casting live games off of the ladder, although I appreciate this one's like a little bit old now because I queued it up earlier. But anyway, good to see you in chat there, friend. Welcome aboard. Please no spoilers if this was you. Okay, so we've got the glider coming down now. So we're gonna have some commandos on the field here. Looks like PGA putting on a lot of pressure now. 212 points worth of victory point damage. Looking reasonable. Schwerpanzer HQ now established. Obersoldaten moving out. Weapon racks have finished though for Apathy Prime, and those Bren guns will be pretty good. Wouldn't it be great if the glider could get crushed? That would be so sick. But yeah, those Volksgrenadiers having a close encounter with this glider there. Oh, of course. Yeah, I forget this. I keep forgetting they changed how this glider works. Yeah, it's a lot cheaper now, but it doesn't come with the commandos. You have to build the commandos. I forgot that. So anyway, yep. Gonna have some commandos coming out. Look at Feuersturm Doctrine. It is actually, you know what, Feuersturm has to be one of the most transformational doctrines for OKW. It's like playing a different faction. Like, Volksgrenadiers suddenly have SMGs and 2 different grenades. Like, that's massive. And your Pioneers can suddenly get flamethrowers. Like, that's massive. And you get the Flamhetzer and the Blitz. I mean, it's really about the Opel Blitz more than the Flamhetzer, but I mean, that's pretty massive as well. Oh, I keep forgetting. Yeah, so there is an incentive to go for the Mechanized Regiment HQ. Oh, I forgot about the incendiary munitions on the Ligs. Yeah, and they are quite cheap as well. They're very usable. So anyway, UKF Forces going to try and come out here. Good spot, Dan, actually. Yeah, that glider on a pixel. I believe you can repair the glider now with the Royal Engineers. But yeah, that glider down to a pixel there, getting very close to destruction. But the commandos will get finished. So we've got some geezers from Ireland going to be out on the field here. Alright, here come the Pumas, looking to try and take a bite out of this AEC at last. But the AAC will kite away, and now the Pumas will do the same, melting away before this infantry. Vickers heavy machine gun team. Say what? I literally didn't know about this being here. Jesus, this commander has had some massive changes. Wow, you can buy a Vickers heavy machine gun team. Hang on a second. What's the difference then? Is that the same? Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, I thought it was a Vickers K heavy machine gun team. Alright, so what's the point of being able to build the machine gun guys, the machine gun team from the glider then? I'm not with you. Does it just come out on the field? Is that the purpose? Sorry, I thought it was a Vickers K HMG team. That would be so interesting. Okay. Well, the pressure is still on though. PGA is absolutely... I mean, this triple cap has been the story of a lot of this game now. And UK Air Force is just not quite able to properly access the victory points. Sneaking Kettenwerfer here, going to creep in and get around onto the AEC even, perhaps? Oh, is there no line of sight? Oh, that's a problem. So, oh no, and a squad was just wiped as well. That was the, I know it was the 4th Tommy squad. So, Apathy Prime here, under a lot of pressure. 144 tickets and ticking. Storm Pioneers with a flamethrower defending this victory point. The AEC going to move in a little bit here, but he has to be careful. The 2 Pumas are waiting, and they, as soon as the AEC is spotted, they will rumble forwards, looking to get some shots. Oh, then, yep, there we go. Finally finding the AEC. And that's going to force that one back. Obersoldaten and the MG34 just doing a sterling job of defending mid. Meanwhile, in west, Volksgrenadiers with MP40s will get shoved aside. Whoa, we've got Bren guns on the commandos? Interesting. Huh. Presumably their hipfire accuracy is just insane with those things. Yeah, look at the damage they're doing to these Obers. Not bad. Gammon Bomb going to come down there, but not going to be super effective. This AEC on Death's Door is too far forwards. Oh, God. Oh, no. Apathy Prime here just caught out. That Puma for sure will get it. There we go. Going to pop smoke and GTFO. The QF 6-pounder, yeah, the Arc just not quite going to catch that Puma. A reposition does come down, but it's going to sneak away. Oh! Oh, he did get the shot actually, but it's a miss. A little bit unlucky there for Apathy Prime. And wow, this MG34 has pushed so far. This Tommy squad just getting caught on the edge of the arc there. That's a bit unlucky as well for Apathy Prime. And now Axis forces are going to decap this point. 116 tickets and bleeding, soon to be bleeding fast here. And this is looking bleak for UKF here. Feuersturm Doctrine does give a lot of strength, doesn't it? It's quite a meaty doctrine. It allows Volksgrenadiers to be used in a much more aggressive and muscly way. Using smoke to close distance or capture points, using MP40s to pile on damage and force fallbacks at close range. I mean, Jesus, look at the damage. I swear that's better than shock troops. Like, Jesus. I mean, I guess it was 2 squads of Volksgrenadiers, but I mean, still, it feels better than shock troops. And it's going to be a Panzer IV coming here. PGA has had decent fuel income. But that tech was delayed, of course, by the 2nd Puma. So this Panzer IV coming out now, but that's fine. It's not especially... Oh, hang on. Is Hammer Tech done? Wow, Hammer Tech is actually done, and there's a Comet on the queue. Jeez. All right. Well, it's going to be a Comet against Kettenwerfer, Double Puma, Panzer IV. The Comet has an AT gun to help it out. So that's going to be tough. 74 tickets and counting, though. It's not certain that this Comet will actually have long enough to try and turn this battle around. We're going to see.
There's a Comet tank ready to go.
Commandos will grab mid, and Tommies are grabbing east here, so that's going to get Apathy Prime out from under the clock, at least for the immediate future. We'll see. He's going to be able to stabilize properly here. The Comet is going to be deployed into the middle of the map. But the 2 Pumas have both got aimed shot now, actually. So that is quite a long duration of stun they can put on this Comet with 2 Pumas. Here comes the Panzer IV. Circling. Going to try and take some attack rounds, but not really transitioning from there. Not really translating, sorry. Bonk, yeah. And the 2 Pumas thinking about it. Oh, the AT gun as well is actually going to find them. So that's nice. But Volksgrenadiers get onto mid, and this is the problem. Oh god, they're going to overrun onto the AT gun. HE grenade is going to force that one back.
Enemy causing trouble, trying to take one of our points.
Commandos with Bren guns are very interesting, aren't they? This is the first time I think I've seen commandos with Bren guns.
Lines being
It's really just an interesting way of using commandos. And as the comet's circling around, commandos have some kind of passive. Hello. Light smoke grenade. Oh, they have the ambush? Or, yeah. Is that what you're asking about, Datton? But yeah, 58 tickets and counting. I mean, if we crack the tack, this is just... Look, how do you access the map here as the UKF player? Oh, they can fire Brens on the move. I thought Tommies could fire Brens on the move. They're just not very good. Am I wrong? Oh, they changed that, didn't they? Yeah. No, I'm distantly remembering now that that was a change that's been made. Yeah, Tommies can only use Bren's static. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So Bren's on commandos, that is pretty cool then. They can fire them on the move. Alright, that's an interesting thing. Thanks, Anti-Morale. Good game knowledge there. And I believe we're just seeing the dying sort of moments here of Apathy Prime. As, this Feuersturm Doctrine starting to flex. Good God. The Puma's coming in for a bit of a dive here. This is brave. I'm not sure about this. One of the Pumas has its engine wrecked. The other one coming in for the full dive. The Comet on death's door. Oh no. The Puma with the aimed shot there jams the turret and is going to use this opportunity to dart around the side. Gets the Comet. Oh no. Well, that is very unfortunate, but I mean, you cannot... The execution from PGA, very good there. That was a tight game. I feel like there were no obvious blunders or like massive errors from Apathy Prime. That was just a brutal grind there as the Flammenwerfer commander, the Feuersturm commander, just finding value with all of its cool toys. And Ober commandos. Commandos get elite brands. Okay. If he didn't make any blunders, then why did he lose? Well, you can lose sometimes by just not getting the better end of a lot of the engagements. You know, you can lose by accumulation of small things going against you, or you can lose by having through obvious unforced errors and blunders. You know, you can still lose a game by not making any blunders for sure. So let's see, we've got Koz and Iroa on Kolodny. That is likely to be good. Yeah, I'm just going to jump into that one. What's this one? Yeah. We're jumping into the Koz game. So Vermax versus USF in a complete change here for game 2. Nicely executed indeed. Yeah. So is Koz tiramisu? Yes. Oh no, Orange Pest. I'm sad to hear that, man. Have you got some sort of RSI related thing? If so, I sympathise really hard. I see. Yeah, man, you got to look after that. Get some proper support, do the right exercises, and try to avoid eating inflammatory foods. This is all stuff that I'm learning as this condition sets in. So, alright, spawning in the west on Kolodny Farm, it is going to be Koz, who I believe is actually really tiramisu. And spawning in the east as the United States forces, it's going to be Iroa. So the table is set here, hopefully for an interesting game. Looks like Koz has Jaeger infantry, okay, fair enough, German infantry, and the defensive doctrine here. Running with the Telemines cost less, Ostrapen squads are 3% harder to hit. Interesting. And the Grenadiers, Panzerfaust have 7% increased range. That Ostrapen one, not one I see often. Pardon me.
Rifle squad ready for action.
And Iroa is going to be rolling with, what do we got? Oh, the same 3 that we always see on USF. Rifleman, DPS, and Veterancy. Pardon me. So far so standard, so commanderless for these two players. It's going to be MG42 Double Grenadier here from Koz, who I'm led to believe is Tiramisu. Iroha going to be going up to 3 squads of riflemen. But I think Americans must be the faction with the least early game build diversity, right? It is almost always just rifleman into tech of choice officer, right? Am I wrong about that? I mean, occasionally we see people try and use assault engineers, and they look cool. I will give you that. The assault engineer game we cast the other day did look really sweet. But yeah, it is mostly just riflemen, and you cannot blame them. American riflemen are just amazing core infantry. They do everything you would want them to. They're just really good. So yeah, why not build them? If you're going to play as USF, you might as well make use of their strengths, and riflemen are one of those. That's true, actually. Pathfinders can vary it up, and the WC-51. You're right. Good point, Orange Pest. I did forget about that. Pardon me. Alrighty. Just going to have riflemen and KARs. Just exchanging here Garands and KARs. Third squad of Grenadiers coming out here, so it's going to be a really tried and tested. This is Wehrmacht as God intended. Garden variety, common or garden Wehrmacht. Oh, sorry that's catching on the mic. Yeah, there's a vehicle reversing outside. If it gets too annoying, please tell me and I can close the window, but it's quite nice to have a nice breeze coming in. Yeah, today is recycling day, hence why we had all the clattering and clanking earlier, and now you can hear the recycling lorry sort of doing its thing. So yeah, Fridays are recycling day, and because I'm casting at midday, that's all just happening. Oh, alright, A-game. Yeah, no, it's definitely on my end. So, okay, Lieutenant Tech here. Finally, we have some tech here. Lieutenant is going to be the tech of choice. So it's going to be a 50 cal coming out off of the back of this tech. Very interesting. Actually, you know what? We didn't look at the commanders that Iroha is bringing. Let's test my USF commander knowledge, because we've got 3 weird geezers there. Right. Okay. Recon support guy in the middle. Easy. Easy. There's WC-51 guy on the right. Now, I think he's called Mechanized. Yes! Mechanized Company. And guy on the right is Armored Company? It's the Tactical Support Company. God damn it. Alright, well, 2 out of 3 today. Not bad. Huh. Oh, that reversing vehicle, he is just reversing up and down the street. Sure, whatever you want to do. Okay, yeah, so, alright, so those are the commanders here. Tactical Support Company, I love. I want to see more Tactical Support Company. It's interesting to see Americans have the access to the M5 half-track, and it's interesting, well, it's not interesting, but it's just bloody good when you have access to the 1919 LMGs. And the Sherman Calliope, that rocket artillery is not a thing that Americans normally have access to. And I like it when players go for commanders that give a faction access to something they don't normally have, because it's usually powerful. Good example, Ostrapen, right? Wehrmacht are a faction that is not balanced with the idea of having access to a really cheap, high model count infantry squad. So it's really interesting to play them with access to that. And USF are a faction that is not designed with access to a rocket artillery. Same for UKF. It's why I like to see the land mattress so much. Honestly, I prefer the land mattress because it's a lot cheaper and it fires a lot more rockets, but, you know, whatever. Calliope would be cool to see, yeah. Yeah, I like commanders that do let you sort of investigate fresh playstyles and options. German infantry will be the pick. Alright. Alright, Koz. Well, to a certain extent, I like delaying it, because delaying it to around the 2 command point limit, or marker, I think is really smart, because we see a lot of players go for German infantry really quick, like as soon as the game starts. And, you know, I've said it before, I think because it's such a munition-intensive doctrine in an already munition-intensive faction, I think you have to be careful picking it too early, because you just don't really know how good your access to the munitions and resources on the map is going to be. And if you don't have the resources to make it work, well, then this commander really doesn't do much for you. So Ko's satisfied now at around about the sort of 5.5, 6 minute mark that the munitions resource will be there, and we have had decent control over this point. This Grenadier is going to be grabbing it yet again here. So yeah, German infantry doctrine seems like an... Why is he just reversing his truck up and down the street? I don't understand. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, German infantry doctrine. Yeah, we're probably going to have the resources to pay for that. And it's going to be a 222 getting added into the roster now. Let's check the camo. Oh, no camo. Very interesting. There's an entire campaign mission designed around the fact where you have to take a town with a Calliope. Oh, that's pretty fun. Oh, the flail Sherman. I remember that. I remember that, Thalasmara. Yeah, what was that called? It was one of the funnies, as they were named, wasn't it? I've seen some footage of that doing its thing. Absolutely crazy. Alright, Stuart is on the field. That, of course, part of Lieutenant Tech, and he's just going to pick up the 222 here. He's going to get Fausted for it, but there's no pack gun to complete the punish. Did that Faust just miss? What the? That was a really weird hit. It seemed to like hit the corner of the tank rather than actually connecting. What did I just see? Somebody tell me what just happened with that Stuart, because it didn't take the proper Faust's worth of damage. It's taken about half or so of what a normal Faust would have done, and the engine isn't broken because of that. What the hell? Okay, that's a... The Faust does glitch sometimes. It's really rare, but sometimes you do see it glitch. It's like the only anti-vehicle grenade, as far as I know, that can actually glitch. I mean, that I ever see glitch, anyway. Because it works in a slightly different way. Like, it's the only anti-vehicle grenade that doesn't use grenade properties. It's like, it counts as a rocket projectile or something, so it uses different physics and it uses different pathing. And apparently something just bugged out with it there, and it just kind of glanced off of the Stuart, which is like a bit strange, but there you go. So, yeah, alright, cool. Whilst we're talking about units that we'd love to see in the game, by the way, can we get some love for Panzer III? I would love to see a Panzer III in the game. How cool would that be? Just even if it's just on a commander, make it would be best on a Wehrmacht commander, because it's not really an OKW. The OKW were like late war Germany, and like they didn't really, the Panzer III wasn't really being used then. Edital Poss. Welcome to chat there, friend. I think you're a new face. Well, welcome aboard. Mouse? Bartolf, no. We're not having the mouse in the game. Did the mouse actually ever see combat? I don't think it did, right? I mean, they built like 6 or something, but weren't they all just like captured in the factory or something? No, I didn't see combat. Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't think it saw combat. Still, I mean, a crazy interesting design, like absolutely nuts. Very forward thinking for its time, but yeah, thank goodness they didn't manage to get them out of the factory. The Germans at the end of the war, I mean, they were still doing some crazy stuff regarding their technology. I was looking at some of the innovations that they were putting on U-boats towards the end of the war to counter the innovations that the Allies had come up with to sort of find and sink U-boats. Interesting stuff like the Schnorkel and some other really cool stuff. Oh, they only built 2 mock-ups? Oh, right, okay. Have you guys ever played Ruse? I'm sure you probably heard or played Ruse. It's the Eugen Systems game. To be honest, I think it's still the best game they ever made, which is saying a lot, because the European Escalation series was really good, and Steel Division is also really good. But I mean, if they made Ruse 2, I would be so happy, because Ruse 2 was built much more as a game. The whole Ruse system and everything. It was not trying to be a historical simulator. It was trying to be an interesting game. But anyway. I'm talking about Ruse because in Ruse, of course, you can build the mouse, and you can build multiple mouse, and it is very interesting to see that thing out on the field.
Order team, ready for orders.
Co-1 had the cool transport vehicle for Brits, the Camel. Interesting. I miss Ruse, if I'm honest. I might reinstall it. Ruse was just goddamn great. It's funny though, because I actually played Ruse a lot, like loads. I played loads and loads and loads and loads of Ruse. I knew that game inside and out. I was playing it online, I was playing it against my friends. But here's the thing, asterisk, I was playing it on Xbox 360 with a controller, and the game ran really well. Like, they had integrated it for a controller interface so well. It was actually really fun. And it completely had its own meta. Like, the PC meta and the Xbox 360 meta were totally different. And to be honest, it was quite nice, because the Xbox 360 meta was a lot less cheesy, like way less cheesy, because you couldn't do so much crazy infantry spam. So, yeah, that was really interesting. So, anyway, this game's kind of heating up a little bit now. Let's talk about this for a second. So, Co's with the GR34 and the Pat gun now in the roster. The munitions are there for triple veteran squad leader, so the German infantry doctrine is starting to pay for itself. The map control, though, is suffering. The American player has had consistently slightly better control of the victory points and the resources on the map. And I would imagine that Major Tech is going to be... Yep, just starting. There it is. So, Iroha off to a fine start. Let's quickly check the tech here. So, yeah, Battle Phase 2 is on the way. And we'll see if Co's has designs on building a support armor core and taking a choice from that structure, or if we're going to see something else. Given that it's German infantry doctrine, it's probably, boringly enough, going to be a Panzer IV. But, you know, Panzer IVs are definitely good. There's a reason why players build them quite a lot. They're just absolutely... They're probably, on average, for the money, the best medium tank in the game, really. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But, I mean, I would love to see something else. I think... We see Panzer IVs so often, and they are very good, and medium tanks players will always love, because medium tanks are very intuitive to use, and they deal with all targets as long as you look after them well. That's an appealing combination of things to have. But I find Stugs more interesting. I don't know why. Maybe it's because we don't see them very much. Maybe it's because you have to use them a bit differently. Maybe it's because there's no other unit in the game that really is like the Stug. But anyway... I wish Wehrmacht players would build Stugs more often. This is probably something that you've all heard me say before. The lament of the Magpie. Anyway, Major Tech is done here, and the fuel income's still good for Iroha, so look to see in the next couple of minutes what the American player goes for as the next fuel spending choice. Let's see, people... You bought you bought Ruse because it came with a free SteelSeries Xi. Huh. What is that? Is that a mouse or something? Oh, it is a mouse. Yeah, sorry. Next comment. Xi was an awesome mouse. Okay, interesting. I'm going to Google that later on. I want to see what the Xi looks like. I've never heard of it. I do use SteelSeries even today. So I've got a SteelSeries mouse right now. And yeah, they've always treated me well. The hardware lasts ages, and it just does what I want it to do with no frills or anything like that. So yeah, I'm kind of a SteelSeries man, at least when it comes to the mice. Anyway, weapon rack's done for this American player, and have been for a little while now. BARs. Oh, come on, mouse. BARs blazing. When I say come on mouse, it's not the mouse glitching. I'm convinced it's Company of Heroes, because it only happens in Company of Heroes. No other game, and it's super annoying. What's up, Connix? Good to see you. No, you're still not a mod. But you might be one day. I mean, we've already got like enough mods at the moment, and to be fair, I mean, you might be a legend in the community. That's probably true, but I've only known you for about 3 weeks or so. So I usually like to get to know someone a little bit longer than that before I just randomly mod them. So it's nothing personal. It's nothing personal, and I super enjoy your contributions to chat. So you know, don't worry about it. Just hang out and enjoy. Not much modding to be done around here anyway. That is a risky church, indeed. The House of God, pretty fragile right now. BAR gets dropped, and these Grenadiers would love to take advantage of that, and they will. So, quite the spicy amount of damage of DPS on that Grenadier squad now. Veteran squad leader, G43, BAR, all good stuff. Actually, the BAR and the G43 have a decent amount of synergy, don't they? So that's cool. Okay. So, there is a support armor core. There it is. And... it looks like Co's is just waiting for Panzer IV money, so going to have that in just a second here. The manpower already there, and a Panzer IV will be on the queue here momentarily. And looks like Iroha not going for a Sherman, so saving for now. We'll see what the choice from the Major Tech is going to be as this game moves on. Co's or tiramisu, but Coase has been able to take back 2 of the victory points and is looking a bit more stable, to be honest. Now that we've got all of the veteran squad leaders here, with the GR34 and the MG42 to tie it all together, we're looking like we're stabilizing now. So we've hemorrhaged, what, 156 victory points. We're trailing by about 134. So this is not the worst position for a Wehrmacht player to be in. The German infantry doctrine doesn't really have any offerings for the late game, though. I mean, aside from strong core infantry and the frag bombing run, which I give you is not nothing, but it's not the strongest late game commander. So I wonder if this game goes on and Coase is able to accumulate a lot more fuel. What's the choice? Do we just keep doing Panzer IVs? Do we go to Battle Phase 3 and look for the Panther? Do we think about a Brumbar? Kolodny is actually quite a good map for the Brumbar. Remember, you can fire over these line of sight blockers, and it's one of the more line of sight blockery maps. So, Iroha, gonna go ahead and pick Mechanized Company, and it looks like we have, is that the Sherman 76? That is the Sherman 76. So this is going to be a medium tank showdown here, as the Panzer IV and the Sherman 76 look to get to grips with each other. Let me just check the pricing on that 76. 125 fuel, so it is actually more fuel intensive than a Panzer IV. Interesting. So okay, here comes the Panzer IV, going to reveal itself, just rampaging out into mid. Okay. Where's that Sherman 76? Here we go. Medium tank showdown, as promised. It's like the Sherman will get the opening shot, bounce off the front armor. Panzer IV rotates. Oh god, he's like punishing himself with the turret rotate there, but does get a penetrating hit. And now these 2 mediums are going to sit and trade. Looks like the Panzer IV dominating to begin with. Yep. The Sherman 76 unable to deliver the goods here. He's going to have to get it out here. The Panzer IV rumbles forwards. He knows he's got the upper hand. He wants it, and he's just going to pick it up. That is the most straightforward medium tank exchange I've ever seen. Well, certainly for a long time in a high-level game of Company of Heroes. Wow, that was just they just routed their medium tanks to the same location and then see who rolled better dice on the exchange, and then Iroha didn't pull his medium tank out in time, and that is an easy kill there for that Panzer IV. Nice! Well, that puts Coase firmly in the ascendancy, doesn't it? We're going to see what happens. We're going to see what Coase can get done with this advantage, but people love the Ostwind recently. Could have had a Stug a long time ago, right? Yeah, absolutely, but that's fine. The 76 is supposed to be upgunned, yes. Kind of. Pineapple fruit, the normal Sherman is way better. Oh, interesting. Oh, he didn't use HVAP. That is true. The 76 Sherman is good with AP rounds. If he didn't bounce, he would have done... Yeah, that's true. There were at least 2 bounces there off that Panzer IV. The 76 Sherman, should it win versus Panzer IV? I mean, they are basically the same price. Oh my god. That is a lot of American value that is suppressed, unpinned under the barrel of this MG42. Sorry, 2 MG42s. Major Barrage will come down to try and say something about that, but it's actually just not good enough, is it? And now, oh wow, he's going to use Incendiary to try and counter this wounded Stuart. Oh, but the Major Barrage splashes him at the last possible second. That's really annoying. Gets a tiny bit of Incendiary spray into the Stuart. And now just going to look to Faust it down. Actually, the munitions aren't really there, so okay, lucky that there's a pack gun there then. That'll do it. And Coase just delivering blow after blow into this American player. Now, there's been no game-ending damage done. The infantry roster's still intact. We're forced to buy AT guns now, though, because we've lost pretty much, well, yeah, we've lost all of our tanks. So we need some squad-based anti-tank solutions. Sorry, I'm just reading chat here. Bad luck, but Iroha should have responded after the... Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was Strummingbird. Good to see you today, friend. But it's weird that he didn't pull that tank out until really late. HVAP doesn't do more damage, just more pen. Okay, interesting. All right, thanks, guys. Interesting, because, I mean, it's not super often that we see the Sherman 76, so it is interesting to get to grips with the differences. Is the Sherman 76... is that the same one that the Soviets get in Lend-Lease? Or is that a different Sherman? Wow, this American position is just taking a pounding. He picks up an MG42 team, though, so that's really nice. Bear in mind, also, in the north, it looks like there is a 50 cal. Probably, yep, gonna get killed. So, a hardware exchange here as the MG42 and the 50 cal gonna trade hands, but both players coming out with broadly the same amount of resources and roster. It is the same tank. Okay, thanks, guys. So then the Soviet one has the option of the HVAP. That's cool. Lend-Lease is another really interesting commander, to be honest. I wish people used Lend-Lease a bit more. It's just fun to watch. It's like Soviets, but not as we know them, you know? Oh, wow. It looks like Iroha are going to mix in the rarely spotted, to be honest, American M1 mortar team. I suppose this unit often just falls into the shadow of the pack howitzer these days. But with no Captain Tech on the roster, it'll do a fine job of providing some indirect fire and smoke support here. And the American mortar, a little bit like the GR34 actually, always vets up super fast, it seems. Like, it just seems to roll hits a lot. So, yep. Do you guys remember when they first added the American mortar, actually? Do you remember how insane it was? It was like laser accurate, as in it was a good counter for snipers because it would unerringly like hit them. If that sniper stayed still for a second, the American mortar would pick it off. Jesus. Yeah, thank God it's not like that. Yeah, the mortar's been putting in work for the last 10 minutes. Probably. I mean, it's got like a lot of veterancy, so yeah. It's been firing for a while. But I've only just noticed it. Oof, Iroha here is in such a tough spot though. Koz is just kind of flexing here. Has not really suffered any real damage either in terms of unit wipes. The Panzer IV is needing repairs right now, but has been doing good. All of this German infantry with the German infantry doctrine buffs has been doing really good. I suppose we lost the MG42, but we just traded it for a 50 cal, so that's fine really. And the American player is now fighting for control of their side of the map, struggling to access anything meaningful really. Triple cap going to be established here momentarily, and Iroha is going to start bleeding. But there is plenty of tickets in the tank right now, 395 to give, so Iroha does have some time to work with here. Zooks starting to pop up as well. Well, I mean, they've been on these units for a while, but that'll help against... Pardon me, that'll help against the Panzer IV. And we do need some help in that regard. Just the 1AT gun right now for Iroha, who doesn't really want to be diverting manpower towards that. There's a lot of heavy traffic going up and down my street today. If the sounds from outside the window get too much, please just tell me and I'll close the window. But it is, as I say, nice to get some fresh air as I cast. All right, Major manages to connect onto North. That sneaky Major going to sneak on through. Nicely done. What do we buy as the American player, guys? What's the next fuel spending unit of choice? Because I feel like that's going to decide how this game goes. We are at a disadvantage, but far from out of the game. We're at 128 fuel, but fuel income is slow. So this next fuel choice has to do something to secure us more map control. It has to break us out of this sort of soft lock. So what's the choice next for Iroha? Jackson. Yeah. I like Jackson. That actually makes a lot of sense. He'll get another 76 and lose. We'll see. He might remember HVAP this time and micro it. Who knows? Axis forces making a fatty land grab in south, resecuring the triple cap in north. Oh god. Jeez. Oh no, and this American infantry is so clustered. It's a good thing that there's no MG42 immediately right here, but yikes, things looking really grim for Iroha. So we're going to basically get this one fuel choice, and then that has to be good enough to break out onto the map. I think the Jackson is the right choice. Whether he wants to or not, he's going to have the fuel because he's been spending manpower on reinforcing squads and such. So by the time he actually has the manpower to make the fuel choice, he will have Jackson money. So it could very well be a Jackson. And I think the Jackson makes a lot of sense because not only does it help with the Panzer IV a lot, but it also insulates you against further vehicle choices from the Axis player. Oh wow, sorry, I didn't even spot. Heavy Armor Corps is done. Heavy Panzer Corps is done. Okay then, it's going to be a Panther tank on the queue. I don't think a Jackson's going to save you now. With a Panzer IV and a Panther, things are going to be rough. But I mean, I still think a Jackson is the safest choice, the best choice, because for sure no Sherman is going to pull you out of this fire either. So, okay, here we go. Here we go. It's going to be Panzer IV, Panzer V out here. The Panther was the Panzer V, right? And the Tiger was the Panzer VI, yeah.
The enemy is taking our territory.
So, oh, dearie me, this is going to be super rough for our American player. A lot of work to do here.
Enemy forces are securing our territory. Panther ready.
Yeah, this is a very sort of this is like I was saying earlier. This is kind of like Wehrmacht as nature intended, isn't it? You know, it's like this is the sort of very core Wehrmacht style that we're seeing play out here, A game, isn't it? Like just using the Wehrmacht strengths, using grenadiers with MG42s correctly, supporting them with Panzer IVs, taking smart fights. Absolutely, this is Wehrmacht. When you think of Wehrmacht games, when you think of the Wehrmacht style, the core style, it kind of looks like this in your head, or at least it looks like this in my head. Alright, so here comes the Panther. Oh, he just wants the ambulance, and that he will get. Bye-bye. Oh, is he going to get his engine broken for this? I think he will. Yep. So, that's probably still fine, but he's getting stalked by Zooks a bit. There's enough support here, though. Yeah, and he's... Where's the MG42 or the 50 cal? Alright, yeah, he can kite them into the MG, and then he'll be fine. And the Panzer IV could even come in to help. Yeah, he's gonna... Alright, so the Panther taking a little bit more damage than you'd probably want for an ambulance exchange, but it's okay. If the rear Esh gets the church, I mean, the church is so low, yeah, they're not going to do that. And then the machine guns, and this... pardon me, this massive concave of German units is going to mean that actually Aroa is going to die with 162 fuel in the tank. So all that thought about the next American fuel choice that I was doing, not in the end relevant. So there we go. One Panzer IV shot just got like 7 kills. Panzer IVs are like super spicy against infantry these days, isn't it? Like, no wonder players are building them so much, because they're just very good against all targets. They are kind of monstrous in terms of DPS output. So, okay, cool. Well, let's hop back into the live game lobby and see what else we can catch today. Okay, we've got an Angerville game with Aroa and this Kanji, who I know to be quite good. We've got a Vilshanka game between Medic and Hero Korean. No, sorry, those are still Kanji. I mean, that's the Chinese characters on Vilshanka. And we've got Artem Sex God and Freak on Bio. So, what do we think, guys? Angerville, Vilshanka, Bio. What's the pick here? I am tempted by an Angerville game, although it will be Wehrmacht versus USF again. OKW USF on Vilshanka. That could be quite fun, to be honest. 2 fresh players as well. I think I'm going to take a punt on this Vilshanka game. Am I? I think I am going to take a punt on the Vilshanka game because it's got 2 fresh players. It's OKW versus USF, so a matchup that we've not actually seen yet. Right? Yeah, we saw OKW against Brits earlier. All right, cool. Well, let's watch this one. Thalismara agrees with me. Seems good to me. Oh, what's up, and a very warm welcome all of you out there. Thank you very much. 18 of you tuning in. Very glad to have your support today. I'm very glad that people out there are tuning in and enjoying the random casting that I do. So we're going to load on into this one, and then I'm going to just quickly take a break here just to give my voice a quick rest and put the kettle on, stretch my legs, check my emails, all of that stuff. And then we'll be right back into this game. So let's have a look. Yeah, there's a little bit of a time to wait on the start of this game as well. So let's see. So it is 3 minutes past 1 right now. If I see you guys at 10 past the hour, that seems good, doesn't it? That gives us a little sort of 5-minute-ish break. So I'll be back at 10 past. Keep it locked, and we'll get into, hopefully, another sweet game. Thanks very much, and see you in a minute. Greetings, what is up, and a very warm welcome back to the channel. The sun is now shining. Oh, that's nice. And the Magpie is now casting. Coming to you guys with some live Company of Heroes 2 games. Now, a quick schedule announcement before we jump into our next one. I'm going to be casting Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next week. You know, although I've not updated this slide, we had a really good evening stream, so I will do Midday Magpie on Monday, and then I will decide if I'm going to do evening streams on Wednesday and Friday, because the evening stream was actually really good fun, and it might fit into my life a bit better now that work is ramping up a bit. So, thing is, I also quite like casting, pardon me, at midday, because I just have more energy at that point in the day. But maybe I'll get used to casting in the evenings. Anyway, so that's what we're doing next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Certainly at midday on Monday, but then possibly in the evenings thereafter. Now, without further ado, let's get into the next game here. We're going to be having, spawning in the east, it's going to be the Overcommand West forces of Medic. And spawning in the west, it is going to be the USF forces of... we're just going to call this guy Hero. Yep, that makes sense. It's going to be a recon support company, and it's going to be... Yeah, recon support company here. Oh, against Scavenger Doctrine. Scavenge Doctrine. Interesting. So, alright, Scavenge. So you get the Flak Panzer, you get the Jaeger Lights, you get the... you get munitions from Salvage, Infiltration Tactics Grenade Package, and the 105mm Howitzer Barrage. That's right. Yeah, for a long time, my favourite commander. Just literally my favourite commander, this one. Yeah, like, oftentimes, I feel like this was way back when it was before you needed tech to get the Ostwind. But you must need tech to get the Ostwind now, right? Anyway, yeah, I used to just snowball people with, like, early game aggression and then just, like, drown them in Ostwinds, and, like, many a game won that way. Emma Duranke, good to see you in chat, friend. Welcome aboard. How's it going? So, yeah. Scavenge versus Recon Support. Here we go. As the opening stages get underway here. I'm going to talk about something else for a little bit, actually. Have you guys been sort of following or have any interest in the Command & Conquer Remastered that just came out recently? Because I have been following that a little bit. Anyway, watching, because I played a lot of Command & Conquer way back in the 90s. That was kind of like my introduction to RTS. But I was just a kid, and I used to play some games against my friends and things, but we were not good at RTS by any means. So the things that we were doing did not exactly represent the best things to be doing in the game, or they were not meta at all. Like, at all. So the prospect of having actual matchmaking in Command & Conquer and Command & Conquer Red Alert was really just exciting, and I've been watching what it looks like when people play on the ladder and stuff, and it's actually kind of fun. There's some work to be done. The map pool, for example, the map pool really needs some work. But I mean, that's often the case on release for RTSs, and the map pool is still playable, and it will definitely improve with time. But yeah, I'd be curious to hear if anyone out there has been enjoying it, or you know, taking an interest in Command & Conquer Remastered, because man, GDI versus Nod is oh, that's interesting. Magpie Orb. Oh, you just mean Orb, right? Who reached top 4 in the Juraki Cup is supposedly a top 2 Open RA player. Very interesting. But yeah, like my as soon as because I only played Red Alert. I never played Command & Conquer, the first one. Was it called Tiberian Dawn? Magpie top 4 in Juraki Cup. Yeah, absolutely. That's a thing that happened. Asterisk may not have actually happened. Oh no, Volks Grenadiers! What are we doing? Medic. How do you manage that? Dude, you only had like 5 units to be looking at. What would Huh? Alright. Well, an unforced error going to lead to the destruction of a unit of Volks Grenadiers in the early stages of this game. That's rough. But what was I just talking about? Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. GDI versus Nod, right? They are much more different than Allies and Soviets, which are still very different in my opinion. But anyway, GDI versus Nod. As soon as I started playing Command & Conquer Remastered, I chose Nod because I was just like, I've seen attack bikes, and I was just like, attack bikes look amazing, and I like motorcycles anyway. So why don't I try Nod? yeah, GDI versus Nod is tough, isn't it? Like, clearly GDI suck. I mean, like, am I wrong? Like, just Nod seem to be way better at, like, everything. Nod get flamethrower infantry, GDI get grenadiers. They're both good, flamethrowers are a lot better. You know, attack bikes literally beat every GDI vehicle, like, all of them. Even mammoth tanks are not effective against attack bikes. Like, so, I don't know, I feel like GDI... I know that this is a remaster of a classic game, but I think on the multiplayer side of things, I think it's fine to do some balance changes to make it a playable game, because at the moment, I don't think the game's playable for GDI players. It is rough. The remaster strikes you as an awesome shot of nostalgia, but for competition, it's a bit too limited or aged. You're probably right, yes. I mean, on one hand, any set of rules will have a meta if you make it competitive, and you can play anything at a high level. But I do appreciate that the game design and the unit design and the faction design and things like that, yeah, they are dated, they are aged. But it's still pretty cool, you know? Certainly at the mid-levels of play, it's a really exciting game to watch. At the high levels of play, it's still very exciting, but there's just no GDI. And for me, a mono-faction game is... It's just not quite as cool for Command & Conquer. I mean, there's like 2 GDI players in the top 10, I think, maybe. And I was watching a couple of them stream, and like they're doing some pretty cool stuff, to be honest. I mean, they have to work a lot harder than Nod to get the wins, but it's still cool to watch them do it. And as far as the game goes, like I mean, yeah, there is a lot of cheese in Command & Conquer, a lot of cheese, but it's great. And the nice thing, to be honest, about Command & Conquer is like the games are fast because the maps are small and the action is intense. So you can play like 3 or 4 games in 20 minutes, and it's just, I really like that pace. I cannot lie. That's a really nice pace for an RTS. And you're still making all the RTS decisions. You know, am I macroing? Am I microing? Am I teching? What's my composition? What's my opponent's composition? Scouting? All of this. It's a full RTS. You cannot deny that you're doing all the RTS things. It's just that it all happens really, really, really quick. So yeah, I really like where Command & Conquer is at. I cannot lie. Kind of makes me wish that some of the other Command & Conquer games were still sort of alive. Like Generals was obviously amazing, and honestly, Command & Conquer 3: Kane's Wrath is like just one of the best RTSs of all time. It's just very good. So I don't know how it is competitively, but it feels really fun. If you just want to have a fun time with some friends, it is one of the most funnerest RTSs out there. They did so many cool things with design, and you can see in Red Alert 3 and Command & Conquer 3: Kane's Wrath, all the ingredients and the ideas for StarCraft 2, they're all there. All the stuff that StarCraft 2 made really good. Which actually, I to begin with, because I played StarCraft 2 first, I thought they were all Blizzard, all StarCraft 2 innovations and ideas, and it's like, no. A lot of those ideas and innovations were in the Command & Conquer games, and I didn't realize that. So, yeah, they were really ahead of their time, I think. Honestly, I think they were. Yeah. I even played like a few games of Command & Conquer Remastered on the ladder. I took some wins. It's good fun, you know? It's such a nuts and bolts RTS that even if you're low skill like me, as long as you can make the right decisions, you still have a decent chance of winning. And then, you know, if you can actually micro and do cool stuff in the game, it like takes on a whole nother dimension. So yeah, man, I took some wins. It's easy to take wins when you can just steal your opponent's base if they look away for 10 seconds. It's a very volatile RTS. So anyway, what's happening here? I haven't really been paying attention to this game because some Volks Grenadiers got gibbed and it all started looking terrible. We're up to 2 squads of Jaeger Lights. Well, okay then. And a Panzer II is now on the field. Alrighty. There's an M1 AT gun because we've got Captain Tech on the field. Weapon racks are done. BARs are coming along. That is quite a lot of things to have happened in the first 8.5 minutes. Oh, Emma Duranke, I mean, yeah, if you haven't got around to buying the remaster, but you fancy it, I mean, I gotta say I would recommend it, if only for the goddamn soundtrack and the way it feels to play. I mean, it really... If you've got some mates who've got it and you just want to mess around and have some lobby games against some randos and things, like, it's pretty active at the moment because I guess it just came out, so people are joining games quick. The ladder is super active. And it's good fun. It's good fun. And like I say, the nice thing is that the games really only take 10 minutes tops. Most games are done in 5. And that's a beautiful pace. That that means that, you know, you can just play a couple of games on your lunch break or just like when you feel like it, and just not have to worry about committing as hard as you do, even to Homeworld Deserts of Karak, which, to be honest, the pacing on that RTS is phenomenal. If they can keep the Deserts of Karak pacing in Homeworld 3, I will be the most... I may actually explode from happiness and be unable to play it. Whoa, anti-vehicle rifle grenade? Yeah, okay, we got it. Bonk. So, okay, wow. A trade there, Greyhound for Panzer II, but when the dust settles, I think it's the allied player who's got the stronger composition, the stronger leftovers, as it were. Homeworld 3 probably won't have anything in common with Deserts of Karak. You're not wrong, A-Game. It will have very little in common. But the lessons... I mean, it's still the same developers, right? It's a lot of the same people, and they are all in the same building, and they're all sharing knowledge. So the lessons learned from Deserts of Karak, I really hope that they are applied to Homeworld 3. Because there are things that they got right in Deserts of Karak, which... you can have a completely different RTS, but as long as you transfer those philosophies. So, like, the first thing that I love about Deserts of Karak is games have a hard 30-minute timer. The game will not go on for more than 30 minutes, or very rarely. I know sudden death is a thing, but, like, that is the correct time frame for an RTS. Much as I love Company of Heroes 2, if your average game length is 45 or 50 minutes, which I think in Company of Heroes 2, it really... average game length is, like... it's probably 35 or 40 minutes. Or, maybe a little longer, but I mean, it is long. The games in Company of Heroes 2 go on. And I gotta say, that is not correct. Like, not everybody can just, like, commit that amount of time to a game, even in an evening. You know, if you want people to be active and playing your game, you cannot have average game lengths that long. I'm sorry, that's the facts. So, the games feel much more engaging and much more fun, and you learn a lot more, and just make your average game length like 20 minutes. If you can aim for an average game length of 20-25 minutes, people will love your game more, I tell you. So, Stormjäger Live. Now, mate, average 1v1 length is 15 minutes. In Company of Heroes 2? Maybe. I feel like it depends as well. It depends a lot on the map, but like the thing about Company of Heroes 2, right, is that like you can't kill someone before 15 or 20 minutes unless the game goes spectacularly weird. Like, you just cannot kill someone, can you? Because you start with 500 tickets, which is a bloody long time of bleeding needed, and you can't get into people's bases and kill them before the first 15 or 20 minutes. You just can't do it, right? Whereas in Command & Conquer and StarCraft and Deserts of Karak and like every other good RTS, right from the first minute, you can win or lose the game. If you fuck up, you die. If you get the drop on your opponent and execute correctly, you win. And that is right. And in Company of Heroes 2, you can't do that. And that makes the first 10 or 15 minutes of the game... I mean, they matter, but it's just like... they're just not as exciting as they are in other RTSs, let's be real. So... okay, maybe I was exaggerating, but a lot of games in Company of Heroes 2 do go to 40, 50 minutes, even sometimes over an hour. Like, a lot. Because of maps like Langriskaya and maps like... There are just a lot of maps that are super, super grindy. And, like, in Company of Heroes 2, you can often have the upper hand and not be able to finish the game. And, I don't know, I have a lot of criticisms of Company of Heroes 2, but I do love it. And it's probably one of my favourite RTSs, if not my favourite. And it's, you know, it's the one I cast the most, obviously. But, you know, I've got to be honest with everyone, you know, that there are a lot of design errors in Company of Heroes 2, and that's cool. That's how we learn. That's how we adapt. That's how RTS as a genre, you know, we got to figure this stuff out together. Everybody's in this together. The players, the developers, everybody working on making better RTSs. But, Magpie, how about this? Make it easier to uncap victory points. Make it much harder to fully capture them, and reduce starting VPs to 300. I feel like if you do that, you might end up with games being a similar length because players just uncap them, and then that leads to a lot less bleed. Do you see what I mean? This is how I would do it. Okay, if I was changing the victory point system for Company of Heroes, what I would do is, at the moment, if you hold 1 victory point and your opponent holds 2, the game nullifies the difference and one player ends up bleeding at 1 per tick. Okay, what I would do is change it so that that does not negate. So if you hold 1 and your opponent holds 2, they bleed at they bleed at 1 and you bleed at 2. You see what I mean? So it doesn't negate. So we're still losing tickets at the same correct rate. Or that's one idea. Maybe that's not a very good one. I don't know. Or if you hold a triple cap for 120 seconds, you have an instant death victory. Like, you just win. Maybe that, or maybe even 180 seconds, but like, or maybe 150 seconds. I don't know. But I feel like there should be some way of making games end sooner, right? Because I just feel like there should be some way. Dawn of War 1 relic victory. I actually don't remember how the relic victory used to work. I remember you needed a relic to build your relic unit, like the Land Raider for the Space Marines and so forth. But yeah, the trouble, the nullification thing is just a problem because it means the majority of the game, right? The game at the start of the game, there are 1,000 victory point tickets, okay, and they bleed about 1 every 3 seconds or something like that. So if it's a 2-1 for the majority of the game, then that is a goddamn long time that you're looking at before the scoreline really matters. And a lot of the time, the scoreline isn't actually moving because, like now, we've got 1 controlled by each player and 1 neutral. You know what I mean? So, like, there can be a lot of intense fighting in Company of Heroes 2 and no change on the scoreline, and that is not correct. Because you've got to respect players' time. You just can't ask people to be spending that long on one game. You just can't. So, yeah, anyway, 15-minute Ostwind indeed, Stormjäger Live. I'm glad someone's paying attention to the game. Sorry, I've gone like real big brain all of a sudden. I'm trying to talk about RTS design while this game is unfolding. But yeah, Ostwind is out and it's looking pretty fierce. There's a Greyhound and an M1AT gun, but the Ostwind is definitely going to look okay on this battlefield, and it has decent support as well. Yeah. Sorry, chat's just talking about interesting stuff and being awesome. Way to go, chat. Whoa! Oh, that was the M83 cluster mines. God damn. Yeah, cool. Suddenly it just looked like the entire map was like S minefields. So anyway, the Greyhound gets caught out. This Ostwind is just absolutely duking right now. Oh, he's gonna get that. He's gonna get that for show. Boom. Riddle me this, actually. Am I correct that American vehicle crews take up no unit cap? Is that right, or am I wrong? Yeah, A-game. I mean, I'm game for casting some games from the latest tournament, man. Let's get me those replays, and then I'm on it. Oh, sorry. Something up with my eye. Right, there we go. Yeah, sorry. I'm just reading through chat. Okay, I completely lost my train of thought. Group stage, some people. Okay, cool. Yeah, this Ostwind is like duking. He's wrecking with this Ostwind. The American player has just hemorrhaged like everything. Oh god, this AT gun. I mean, oh, okay, he's gonna lose the Ostwind now. I mean, there was definitely a way of microing that so the Ostwind doesn't get dinked by the anti-vehicle grenade and you actually end up taking out the AT gun. But you know, that was definitely still a great Ostwind. And has it stabilized the game now? Because the OKW player was definitely on the back foot before that happened. I don't think this game's over, Anti-Morale. The American player has a 50 cal, so it's going to be difficult for OKW to push out. Also, oh wow, it's actually the OKW player who has the ticket lead. Darn you, confusing HUD. But yeah, for sure, A-game. I'd love to cast some of the Jiraki Cup. I just need to remember to get on the Discord and find me the replays. That's the thing. But I mean, that's so easy to do. Oh no, the Storm Pioneers! No! Oh, come on, mouse. Yeah, USF still has, like, this is fine to be working with. Like, I mean, this game is definitely not over. If you're playing for $2,000 or something, you know, you definitely would play from this position.
Crowds are sniffing around our asses. Tactical point being captured.
Hey, game, have you been pinging me in Discord? Is that the thing when you say you've been pinging me? Because, right, well that's why. I probably haven't opened Discord for like a month. Or more. I actually only very rarely use Discord. So as soon as I open it, I'm going to see like a load of messages with links to replays. All right, sick. Well, we'll get in on that then. Yeah, I need to remember to use Discord consistently. It's just such a useful tool. But the thing is, I only really open it when I'm like gaming with my friends, and we need to use it like for VoIP. So anyway, it's going to be a second Oswind. And the USF player like just totally takes field control. Is Major Tech on the way? Oh, it's finished. Major Tech just finished. Okay, cool. Historical accuracy is not a priority in KO2. No, it is not. Historical accuracy, if you want to see what a more historically accurate RTS looks like, Steel Division is your friend. That is an RTS with ridiculously good historical accuracy. Or at least better historical accuracy, let's put it that way. I mean, Company of Heroes 2, we're talking about a game where like a machine gun has like a range of like 20 meters, you know? Company of Heroes 2 is designed to play like an RTS, so it can't be historically accurate. It can try and represent historical accuracy, but it literally cannot be a realistic RTS because it's trying to conform to like keeping the action on one screen and having capture points and doing all kinds of things that are not realistic. And that's not bad. It makes it a great RTS. The thing about realism is it actually doesn't make for a very engaging experience. Like Steel Division, amazing game, but the action is very spread out. Like if you are zoomed out to a level where you can actually appreciate what's happening in terms of tactics and strategy in Steel Division, you really can't see any of the units. So, you know, that's you got to make the trade-off somewhere. Datton, he's essentially covering 2 VPs with 1 MG. What is this map? Yeah. Alright, it's going to be a Sherman for the American player, and that will match up quite well against the Oswin, but there's triple Kettenwerfer, actually. So that's rough, and the American player is taking a pounding. Jesus. Having a really difficult time getting out and about onto the map, and actually 266 tickets and holding for now, but the bleed will be established soonish. The Oswin going to limp away here. Yeah, I would like to... Emma Duranke, interesting. I would like to cast some Steel Division 2, for sure. But the thing is... not that this has ever stopped me in the past, but I really don't know enough about it. Like, I would almost go so far as to say I know nothing about it. Like, I know the basics, I know the principles. I played a lot of Steel Division 1. Well, I played some anyway. Oh, he's going to lose these Volks. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea, but... if I can get hold of some good Steel Division 2 replays, I'd love to give that a go for sure. And, alright, now we've got Sherman versus Oswind. And the American player once again under a triple cap. Rakettenwerfers, there are so many Rakettenwerfers in this OKW list. And an M1! Oh dear, sorry, I thought it was 3 Rakettenwerfers. He actually has, annexed this M1 here. Oh, there's the cluster bombs. Oh! God damn. So he picks up, what? Was that another Volksgrenadier squad and the M1AT gun? Or was it just the M1? I think it was just the M1, actually. Alright. That's still pretty good, though. Forces back the Kettenwerfers. Now the Rifleman can try... oh, my God. Is he going to get donked? You have to micro this back, my friend. There's no reason to be getting donked by that grenade, I'm afraid. And I mean, this game's kind of still alive. This OKW composition is good but fragile, and the American composition is pretty robust but heavily countered by what the OKW player is doing. So both of these players have resources to work with. It's going to come down to put a donk on it. It's going to come down to exactly how the forces meet up here. Oh no, well, okay, well, I mean, the Oswind is going to get picked up here, and that's nice. There you go. We're going to take that. He could probably pick up these Jaeger lights too if he tracks onto them quick enough. Probably want a GTFO. Wow, we're coming in deep. Why are we coming in deep? We just want to give him the Sherman? Well, okay there. It's weird to me that he decided to drive through the base with the Sherman. You can absolutely just kill the Oswind and then reverse away with like some damage. That is Osgiliath. Dat move. Yes. Yeah, you know something's gone wrong when you lose a Sherman tank from like 90% health to flat guns. So, that was interesting. Well, you know, this is what casting on the live game ladder be like, lads. This is sometimes the stuff goes weird. Sometimes strange things happen. Sometimes you cast a game between players who aren't super top tier and you get to see some wonky stuff go down. That's cool. You know, that's what I sign up for. The thing is, a lot of people kind of only watch top level stuff. Like StarCraft 2 is a really good example. Like when we watch StarCraft 2, when we watch tournaments and stuff, it's so top tier. Like players are being so efficient and really on the cutting edge of what's possible in the game and decision making and so on. But when you actually just play most RTS, like 99% of RTS games that are not in tournaments and are not being cast are wonky as hell because it's just two players who are not godlike, just playing the game as best they can. And that looks wonky. The games are invariably decided by who makes the biggest mistakes. Like, that, you know? I would say 95% of RTS games are literally decided by who makes the biggest mistake. Or the most mistakes. Or just like, who has the most net mistake level. The most net amount of mistake. And then only at the very top tier do you and your opponent's decision making actually really meaningfully interplay onto each other, and like, and you get to sort of have this back and forth experience. It's kind of like playing tennis, a little bit. Like you need to have the skill to pass the ball back and forth over the net before you can really start having a meaningful game of tennis. And in RTS, I feel like your average player cannot really keep the ball going in a volley for more than 3 or 4 hits before they just kind of flunk it out into the audience or like smack it into the net. Because RTS is like intrinsically very difficult. The game asks of you to do a lot. And the reason it's difficult is because it's real time. You're having to control so many things in real time at the same time as trying to maintain awareness of what your opponent is doing and make decisions to counter that, which is difficult to say the least. So yeah, that's why RTS is difficult, and that's why a lot of games look sort of wonky. So we're going up to double Ostwind here momentarily. This will be the 4th Ostwind, I believe, that will be joining us in a second here. So what are we at now? 191 tickets for the American player, 296 for our OKW friend here. This game's looking pretty weird. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. Who's going to win? I honestly can't call it right now, but I feel like the OKW is just about getting the upper hand here. Brits equal high skill faction. Sure. Can't tell if sarcastic. Yeah, actually, we cast a game from Jibber Jabber Jobber the other day. Certainly looked rank 9. Okie dokie. Well, we're up to double Ostwind. We made it. We finally made it. It took us 4 Ostwinds, but we got to double Ostwind. And what can the USF player do against such reckless AA? That's the thing. This is like Flat Guns, the game. Yeah, Jibber Jabber Jobber is pretty damn good at this game now, generally. Nice to hear that his USF is picking up as well. I think we watched him do a really sick Vermac build the other day. Well, I say sick, I mean it was just using a 251 half track as nature intended, not upgrading it with the flame projectors. He was using it and getting sick value out of reinforcing and healing squads that were in the back, and transporting squads and dropping them on enemy squads with STGs and flamethrowers, and transporting squads around the field to capture points, and just doing all the stuff that a 251 half track was designed to do, but nobody ever uses it for. So, yeah. What in the world? Oh, Prime Clarity. If you're trying to post a link, all links are just banned in my chat at the moment. So that might be why. Pack 43 is kind of like a Flak 88, no? It's a bit bigger, I believe. I mean, it's similar-ish insofar as it's a giant gun that can fire anti-tank shells, but wasn't the Pack 43, like, actually bigger than the Flak 88? Oh, okay, Prime. What were you trying to post then? I don't know. Yeah, Stormjäger, absolutely. The 251 is a sick unit. It's so good. I still think it needs to be a bit better if we want to see it at the top end of the meta, being used as anything other than a flamethrower half-track. But I like it a lot. I wish players used it more. I kind of wish that those half-track units... Because when Company of Heroes 2 released, right, it was two factions, Soviets and Wehrmacht, and they both had an equivocal half-track. It was the M5 and the 251 half-track. And they both could do transporting, reinforcing. And I think Relic kind of thought that that was going to be a core part of the game design. Like, that players would occasionally, not always, but at least in a good amount of the time, be using half-tracks to move their units around the map, and crucially, to reinforce on the map. And, like, rapidly, it became apparent that half-tracks were far too expensive and fragile to realistically be used for that purpose. Like, so nobody was doing it, because you're just feeding kills into your opponent's AT guns. AT guns were just, like, affordable and good, and medium tanks spank half-tracks. So for a whole load of reasons, that never became the thing. But I'm sad that never became the thing, because I reckon this game would be way more dynamic, and probably the games would be much faster if half-tracks were just a solid part of the game, because you could reinforce on the map, and that makes the game faster, and it means that if you take fights, that momentum carries on, where in Company of Heroes 2 generally, after a while, you just have to fall back your army. Even if you're winning loads of fights, you just have to fall it back at some point. And a half-track actually means that you can apply pressure, and you can keep a momentum-based style and an assault and attack going, which, like, I think Relic really thought that half-tracks were going to be a big part of the game, and they're just not at all, which I'm really sad, to be honest. I mean, I'm sad about that, because they're really cool. I reckon they're awesome, but they're just too expensive to use, really. When winter mechanics are a thing, yeah, that's another thing, yeah, when winter mechanics are a thing, half-tracks are a bigger deal as well, absolutely. I mean, I would be super open to seeing half-tracks be a little bit redesigned. Like, what if the M5 and the 251 half-track also had the hull down like the 250 half-track had? So you could sort of turn them into a little machine gun nest or something. Like, I don't want to give them too many abilities, but you either have to make them cheaper or you have to make them better. Like, because at the moment, 30 fuel is too much. You are delaying your tech, and you are gifting your opponent a really soft, spongy target that feeds a lot of veterancy. So that's why people don't use half-tracks, because they die in 2 seconds, and then you feel dumb for having built it. Unless you're Jibber Jabber Jobber, and then you micro like a god. But apart from him, nobody else can do it. Oh, Bartolf, you did a quick check on the... they were different guns produced by different arsenals. So that's the Pack 43 and the Flak 88. Okay, that's interesting to know. So they had the same... So did they fire the same ammo? Probably. If they were the same caliber, I suppose they might have. This game, by the way, slowly just spiraling out of control for the American player, who's now lost most of their army. There was a moment where we had 3 Ospins on the field. We're back down to just 2 now, but that is more than sufficient for the task at hand. Anti-morale, an extra 80 HP at Vet 3. Are you thinking for the half-tracks? To make them more viable? In which case I would suggest just give it to them at Vet 0, because, like, they still won't be viable if you need to get them to Vet 3. Remember, they do Vet, like, pretty slowly. Give transports a discount on reinforce? Great idea, Datton. That is a really sick idea. As this American player finally gets... What is this thing called again? 105mm howitzer barraged. Out of the game! Get out of there, son! You done! Alright, there we go. Interesting. I mean, that was a bit of a wonky game, but, you know, we're going to get those from time to time on the ladder, and I'm okay with that. When you say that they have shared vets, you mean they get some veterancy for the units around them fighting? Is that what you mean? I mean, you're right in a sense, Stormjäger Live. the 251 and the M5, they are both kind of okay. Like, they exist in the game without being god-awful. Oh, Koz vs. Nico on Langraskaya. Yeah, we'll take that. I mean, they are both kind of okay, but I sort of think that they need to be different than they are in the game if you want to enable players to be able to put on a more momentum-based, mobile, pressuring style. And I think that would be really healthy for the game. I mean, we're way too late now. I think Relic wanted them to be like that on release, and we are way too late to think about changing them and meaningfully doing anything now, because the meta is just settled into a different place. If you made those changes that we're suggesting, it would just do weird things to the meta, and I'm not sure it would be very healthy. So, like, I'm really talking about fundamental design changes, not... I mean, I don't think it would be a good idea just to change the way they work here. As good as they are good as they are, 251 is meta versus Soviets. All right. But I just don't ever see it. I mean, I'm talking about not flame projector half tracks, by the way. I'm talking about using them as half tracks, using them to reinforce, heal, and transport, which are cool things to watch. Anyway, let's go ahead and introduce these two players. Spawning in the south, playing as the Vermax, it is going to be the screen name Koz, who I'm pretty sure is Tiramisu. And spawning in the north, playing as the screen name Nico, as the United Kingdom Forces. I'm pretty sure that this is Nagano. So this ought to be a decent game. Tiramisu and Nagano, of course, definitely top-tier geezers. And looking forward to seeing what they're going to bring. Let's take a look at the commanders. We've got Jaeger Infantry, we've got Ostrapan Doctrine, and we've got Defensive Doctrine. So running both of the Ostrapan Doctrines here. Wow. If he had Mobile Defense instead of Jaeger Infantry, we'd have the triple Ostrapan. But we're not going for that just now. And we've got the Ostrapan squads are harder to hit thing as well, so that's interesting there. Nico going to be rolling with, good God, I can't recognise UKF commanders very well. Well, it's Royal. Is this Engineer or Artillery? I'm going to guess Artillery. Yeah, I got him. It's Royal Artillery Regiment. Wicked. We've got Special Operations, Mobile Assault. God damn it, I always get those two confused. And then we've got Guy on the right who's like Lend-Leasey something or other. Yeah, Lend-Lease Assault Regiment. Got it. All right. I mean, I'm going to give myself that one. I got two of the right words. So those are the ones on the roster. The Jibber Strat is OP versus Soviets. The Flamer is even more OP. Yeah, maybe. I've not seen it enough. I think if it was really OP, I would have seen it in more games, but... You know, I don't cast that many games. There's always a small sample size that plagues my opinions on the game. So, perhaps you are right. Perhaps. I'm totally prepared to accept that you know the game better than me. That's probably true. So yeah, maybe 251s are fine. But still, from my point of view, I don't feel like they are being used as Relic intended when the game released. And when Half Tracks was kind of supposed to be a core part of the game and just never were. Ostrapan meta, absolutely prime clarity, you know it. Forward reinforcing gives me serious anxiety in balance, as it's ridiculously wave-based. Yeah, it is trickier to balance, I grant you, but... Well, how about this? What if you can only forward reinforce from one thing at a time, and you have to designate that thing, and once the thing is designated as your forward reinforcing point, your opponent permanently has it revealed on the minimap? How about that as a way of balancing it A-game? So you can only reinforce from one half track at a time, and you can change which one you reinforce from, but it costs like 20 seconds worth of time to change over. And once it's on a half track, your opponent just gets it revealed the whole time. That would be interesting, because then you really have to... I don't know if that would be interesting or not. I don't know. I'm just coming up with crazy ideas off the top of my head. Retreat is the primary defensive advantage of Company of Heroes. Removing it is a massive risk, but you're not removing Retreat, are you? OKW forward reinforcements were a problem, but they weren't tied to a half track. They were tied to a ridiculous truck that has taken quite a long time to balance correctly. They were tied. I mean, it's not a truck; it's a building. You know, so that's a different case. But I do see a point, Angry Dutchman. It's definitely relevant. 251 is useless against USF and Brits. Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, without the flame projectors. Retreat is because you remove the defensive advantage. Okay, I do sort of see, because if you're defending right, then it's much quicker for you to get reinforcements because your base is a lot closer. Is that what you're saying, A-Game? And you sort of remove that by letting the aggressive player have a half track on the offense. Okay. Yeah, sure. Well, okay, how about this? What if a half track could only reinforce, say, 12 models, and then you had to drive it back to your HQ sector, and as soon as it entered your HQ sector, yeah, the 12 models were replenished on the half track, and then it could reinforce another 12. That would be cool. Because that way you can't use it to permanently keep a push going, but you can use it to lend momentum around the map, and that way it may even behoove players to have 2 half tracks, because I don't know, I'm just spitballing ideas here, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, that would be interesting. What if there was like a 12 ammo count on the reinforce on a half track, and then it had to go back to the HQ sector to replenish? That'd be interesting. Yeah, but the thing about production carrier pushes in Deserts of Karak A-Game is that you're not just reinforcing. You're producing. You are literally spawning units, and it's not just it's not just infantry tier units. You can spawn pretty much anything that's like not cruiser class out of the production carrier, and like that is insane to balance. I would not wish that on anyone. It has skewed Deserts of Karak so radically. It's so weird. I'm not even saying it's bad, but it's like it is a mad thing to try and design your RTS around. That's for damn sure. Yeah. To be honest, I don't like the production carrier versus support carrier difference. For one thing, it's really awkward that one faction starts with just a carrier, and the other faction starts with a carrier and a cruiser. Like, that's weird. And then to balance that, you have to have this weird, like, cost in the tech tree. Just like, you just have to spend a load of CUs to get refinery tech. Like, in the early game, it's just... It feels super artificial and just kind of really weird. I don't like the way they do that. I think either both factions should just have a fully functional carrier, or both factions should start with a cruiser and just kind of go from there. That's my thoughts. Although, having said that, Deserts of Karak is still a goddamn kick-ass game, and it still works, so what do I know? Anyway, right. So, what are we now? We're coming up to the 7.5 minute mark. Whoa, we got a Scottish sniper on the field. Which we bollock dear want shot off first. Alright, here he comes. 55 calibers of German head exploding action approaching the front line here. Already has exploded 2 heads. We'll see exactly how many kills he's going to get. But it's nice to see UKF players are actually going to the sniper a bit more often. Did he lose his Panzer Grenadiers? Hang on, what? Wow. Really? Oh, sorry, he just didn't build Panzer Grenadiers. That's why. Okay. Oh, he lost the 222. Right, okay. I knew there was something missing from up there. Cool. All right, sorry. I wasn't really paying attention to how this game has gone. But now I am. So, okay, we've got Bren Carrier with the Vickers K upgrade. We've got the AEC Sniper, 3 squads of Tommies, Royal Engineers. A solid start here for Nagano, who has picked off the 222. And it's a pretty default kind of core Wehrmacht style coming out from Coase here. No Ostropen. No a veteran squad upgrade, German infantry style coming down, and an LMG-42 upgrade indeed, even popping up on some of these grenadiers. So definitely trying to play with the core Wehrmacht tools, at least for now. Perhaps this is one of those games where Coase or Tiramisu opted to see exactly how much munitions income they were going to be sort of securing before deciding to go for German infantry doctrine, and in the end, the map control has just not been there. As you can see, we've got 1 munitions point, but that's it. So perhaps Coase opting here to just like stay away from German infantry and might move into Ostropen later, or if the munitions start flowing a bit more freely, might move into German infantry doctrine at a little bit of a delayed juncture. That's fine as well. You don't have to go for it super early. So, okay, going to be replacing the 222 as Wittensweihundertzweiundzwanzig. German's a hell of a language, isn't it? Going to be coming out onto the field here momentarily. Sorry, I'm just reading through checks. There's some super interesting discussion about unit design going on here. I don't think StarCraft 2 has bland factions. I think StarCraft 2 is in pretty much the best place it's ever been. Like, they're so different what the factions do in that game. Yeah. I feel like StarCraft 2, like, the factions are so different. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, right, cool. I guess it's a bit sad, because StarCraft 2 has always been a slightly more uniform, like, less diverse RTS, hasn't it? So... yeah. But even then, like... the factions in StarCraft 2 are so different. I mean, we're talking about super advanced psychic aliens, humans with high tech, and like biological terrors. Like, so they're always going to be pretty different, and they are at the moment. That's for damn sure. So, UKF Tier 0 Oval Soldat and a 270 manpower. Are you talking about Tommies? I don't think they're that good, but they are pretty good. So, alright, sniper up to 7 heads exploded. Double LMG 42. Still no commander picks from these two players, playing it very respectful. Ko's up against it though, 11 minutes into this game, trailing by 160 odd tickets at least, 170. And the UKF player really having their way out on the map. Resources have been flowing nicely for Nico, and I imagine we'll see company command post pop up here momentarily as the second fuel going to be secured by these Tommies over here. And Tiramisu, with a lot of work to do here, finds the sniper, so this could be the start of something, but no, the AEC and the Vickers Bren carrier are just going to be too much, and the 222 is going to have to give up. Doesn't even get very much damage at all on that sniper, so pretty unlucky. The AEC coming in really deep here, wants to keep away from these Grenadiers, and it will. The Pack 40 desperately turning to try to acquire, but won't actually be able to. And the AEC gets out of there, popping smoke on the way out. And Nagano here continuing to, apparently literally with the AEC, run rings around Tiramisu. GR34 will be added in for Tiramisu, and that kind of makes sense. We are playing quite a defensive style, so the GR34 is going to help. We're going to be able to put down smoke in useful locations as well. But this is looking really tough right now. Up to 2 squads of Royal Engineers as well. The close range damage on those Sten guns, no joke. And they, as long as they survive, will be very useful in the mid and late game as well. Yeah, to a certain extent, that's a good point, A-Game. StarCraft 2 has a lot more creative freedom because they're just like, it's space and sci-fi and whatever we want. Laser beams, aliens, whatever. Whereas Company of Heroes is a much more... like, it's just humans fighting humans with World War II tech, so it's much more, like, standardized. It's like the difference between playing Warhammer 40k and playing bolt action, like, you know? And then... I think... yeah... I think that with Company of Heroes 2, Relic pushed themselves into a corner in a number of ways, to be honest. But the asymmetrical faction design that they tried to go for when they added USF and OKW was almost like they were doing it for its own sake. They were just trying to make differences between fact. They were like, oh, okay, what if OKW build their buildings on the map and then like get loads of weird abilities like from them, and like, what if OKW have like, do you remember when OKW came out? They were trying to be so different. They got like reduced resource income, and they're still the only faction who gets 5 stars of veterancy for some reason that's not entirely clear. And like just that, like OKW, and then Americans as well. They were just like, what if Americans are the only faction who gets vehicle crews to micro, which is still to me insane. Like, all vehicles have crews. the men inside tanks historically are able to get out of them. They are not surgically implanted in their tanks. So either you play a game where vehicle crews can get in and out and do stuff, or you play a game where they can't. But it is kind of ludicrous that Americans are the only people who get the ridiculous power of vehicle crews. You know, and when you make the faction balancing around things like this, it's like, yeah, it is quite hard to balance. You do paint yourself into a corner. Company of Heroes does have quite a lot of units. That's a really good point. Most good RTSs, if you actually look at RTSs that are good, the factions usually have like 11 to 14 units. Like, it's not many. It's really like not many. If you look at StarCraft, like most of the factions have 11 to 14 units. If you look at pretty much any good RTS over the years, like 11 to 14. And the thing is, you don't just have 11 to 14 things you can do, right? The units have different upgrades, you can use them in different ways, you can modify them to make different styles good. That's what makes for a fun RTS. So yeah, if you just have rock, paper, scissors style stuff, RTSs do tend to feel really bland and boring. And to a certain extent, you can see that being a little bit of a problem with the Command & Conquer remastered games, because it is like, if your opponent has the thing that beats your thing, you basically, like, your thing just dies. Like, it's like, oh, he had a flame tank, all of my infantry is useless and dies. You know what I mean? Whereas in modern RTS, we like it to be a bit more sort of like, well, you know, I have scissors and my opponent has a rock, but if I modify my rock and I mess about with his scissors and wait, hang on. Okay, let's start over. Sorry, I confused myself. So, in modern RTS, like if I have scissors and my opponent has a rock, like, you can do a few things to help out the scissors. You know, you can like nullify some of the strengths of the rock. You can like manipulate your scissors in such a way, or equip them with something or other where you might have a hope in the fight, or if with correct positioning you might be able to do something. It's not just like, did you have the right thing? Okay, then you win or lose. It's like, no, you can actually try and do something with the things you have, even if your opponent has a compositional advantage. It will be hard, but at least the game isn't over, because that's interesting. You know, you can make some decisions, you can try to position your units, you can try and take an engagement where the game just isn't over because you had the wrong composition, and that's a great thing for modern RTS. 10 scissors will beat 1 rock. I mean, yeah, numbers, what is it? Quantity is a quality all of its own. Oh, sniper on the ropes here. The 222 coming in. We'll get him at last. There we go. The Scotsman goes down, and the AEC attempting to save the Scotsman in a dangerous position here. The 222, he gets the AEC and the sniper with the 222. Okay, Coes, we're down at 84 tickets under 468, and there is a goddamn mortar pit, like, doing stuff, but we might be in a position where we could try to stabilize. Have we got a pack gun we can get onto this mortar pit? If we can get the pack gun to here, start doing some attack round, maybe there's a way back into this game. But yeah, this is looking rough. Yeah, A-game, that's an interesting point. I think people often just want more expansion content. They're like, I love this RTS. Why don't we, I want to play it more. Add more units, you know, or like, you know, and it's like, but then you'll be playing a different game, and it might not be as good, because you'll be taking an existing game that worked and bolting something on. And I kind of feel like Company of Heroes 2 has fallen victim to that a little bit. Oh, nice grenade! Those Tommies. Was that a pineapple? Who honestly researches pineapples for Tommies? I feel like it's always such a surprise when that Tommy starts pulling a pineapple. Wow! Ko's just kind of getting run over by UKF on Langraskaya. Nagano stitching together a ridiculous game there. Coming out with a comet there, which didn't even have time to come onto the field. But wow! Ko's just gets curb stomped. I mean, I feel like there was really no point where Nagano was in danger in this game. Like, he just got ahead, stayed ahead, and suffocated Tiramisu out. And that was that. Wow, what a convincing display. Jesus. Oh, pineapple. Come on now, UKFOP. Grens without 5-man? I don't know. Let's look at the statistics. Today, every time... I cannot argue with that, Datton. That is a 100% win rate for Mortarpit today. So I think what you're saying is, nerf Mortarpit? Probably it should cost 600 manpower and 200 fuel. Yes, we did use this form of statistical analysis before, but then it was for a point that I was championing, and so that was fair and righteous, whereas now it's just ridiculous. Oh, I'm not going to cast a game with the Sloth. I'm sorry, Sloth. You need more practice. Alright, guys, I think that might be it for... Oh, hang on. Who's Zhao Hang? Is Zhao Hang any good? Do we know anything about this player? A nub. Nope. Alright, nobody's heard of Zhao Hang. Alright. Well, that would be quite a long wait as well. So, I mean, our only real choice is the Sloth and Iroha, which doesn't look good. I tell you what. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll come back in 5 minutes, and we'll have another look, and hopefully there'll be a game worth casting. All right, let's do that. Okay, guys. Thanks very much for tuning in, and appreciate everybody contributing in chat. Stay tuned. I will be back at 10 past 2. 10 past. Greetings, what is up, and a very warm welcome back to the channel. The sun is hiding and the Magpie is casting. Coming to you guys right now with what will hopefully be a better game. I'm going to have a look at the live game lobby here. We've got Hoy Jimmy 890 versus Angel on Crossing in the Woods. I don't know Angel, but Jimmy 890's given us some sick games over the last couple of months. What else have we got? Yeah, I'm inclined to give that one a go. It's a Crossing on the Woods game as well, in the woods, sorry, which I don't think we've had one today, so that'll be a nice change. Yeah, let's do it. Wait, hang on. Just going to refresh it one last time. Yeah, let's do it. Cool. Alright, we're loading on him. Look at us go up to 24 viewers. If you'd have told me that in my third week of doing Twitch and like streaming on Twitch, I'd be up to 24 viewers just by randomly casting like games from the live ladder. I mean, I look at people who've been on Twitch for like 2-3 years and they get like this kind of viewership. So it's like blows my mind. It's just super cool. I just thought for a really long time, like months, I would just be left to my own devices to like figure out how to do streaming and how everything works and everything. But no, it's like everyone's watching me like when I'm a noob on Twitch. It's cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm really glad everyone's there. But I honestly thought I'd have a solid couple of months before anyone would be watching a thing I did on Twitch. But here we are. It's great. Okie dokie. Right, we're just waiting for the last couple of seconds to tick down off of the pre-game countdown, and then we're gonna get on into this one. All right, there we go. Let's get into it. Spawning in the north on Crossing in the Woods, playing as the Vermac Pieces, it's going to be Hoy's Jimmy 890. And spawning in the south, playing as the Mechanized Commander, as the USF Forces, it's going to be Angel. And it's going to be a WC-51 build. Are we ready for it? I hope we are. Here we go. Let's see what he can get done with the Truck of Destiny, the 50 cal Road Warrior. It's going to be some pretty concerning stuff, I imagine, for our Vermac player. Going to be building an infantry company, so probably not going to be relying on the Struppen defensive doctrine. We've also got German infantry and mobile defense doctrine on the roster here. Mobile defense doctrine. Let me just refresh myself. So you get the command tank, you get the Panzer, you get the Panzertac, you get the Struppen reserves, which is very different to just having Struppen because it's at 3 command points, so that's different. You get the Puma and you get counterattack tactics. Oh yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah, okay, so yeah, this is a great commander. I really like this one. I'm not convinced it's like super well positioned in the meta or anything, but it's certainly a fun and cool commander, which does give you access to some powerful things, so I'm sure it's not useless in the meta. You know, the Puma is a nice, interesting resource that Vermac do not usually have access to. And you do get access to Ostrupen, just not exactly when you need them with this doctrine. They just arrive a bit later. And the Panzer IV Command Tank is a really interesting unit to micro and build around as well. So, and also, of course, any commander that gives you Panzer Tactician is worth thinking about, because it just makes your vehicles and all of them, it makes them just more survivable, and that is incredibly useful, especially for Wehrmacht. So yeah, that's a really great commander actually. I wonder why we don't see it that often. Just probably because there's other much better stuff to be doing in the meta, that's why. So MG42 double grenadier, so far so standard here for Jimmy 890, and the WC-51 truck is actually capping mid. This thing's so stupid. It can just capture points. Why not? Why not just let it capture points? It doesn't cost any fuel? Hang on, I didn't realize it only costs 200 manpower and 3 unit cap. What? 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 Why isn't this the only thing Americans do? Like, that's ridiculous. Wow. I mean, okay, there's a pretty good argument that this might be the best unit in the game then. Honestly, I thought it was like 15 fuel and like 220 manpower or something. I did not think it was just 200 manpower. Are you kidding me? This thing is 200 manpower. What? It captures, it calls in artillery, it has a 50 cal that does stuff, it marks vehicles. It has a vehicle crew, you get a vehicle crew because he plays American, so you get a vehicle crew. It arrives at Tech 0. It pushes units around and makes them ridiculously hard to fight with. Why aren't we seeing this like literally every game from Americans? Because this is what? I just didn't know it was 200 manpower and 3 unit cap. Fine. All right, here it comes. Let's see how your 240 manpower thing does against my 200 manpower. Okay, yeah, we spent 45 on a Browning M2. All right, fair enough. Actually doing quite well because he's just sitting in the arc. Oh, hang on, what? Angel? No? Okay, that's not how you use the truck. Okay, he made a bit of an error there. It's not going to look great in this example. That's a bad player. Osgiliath in chat. Boom. Big plays. Okay, all right. For all that the WC-51 does bring, all those things I was going on about, if you park it in front of an MG42, you're going to have a bad time. And Angel is going to demonstrate that fact. Wow, that is 2 games in a row. We've seen the Axis player just lose a unit because they weren't looking in the early game, and it's like, I can understand once we're a few minutes into the game, but if we're less than 5 minutes into the game, there literally just aren't that many places you can be looking. Like, what were you doing that your WC-51 got, like, hung out to dry? Maybe Mum was coming in to bring him some chocolate milk or something. Just kidding. Yeah, okay, well, Imagine how fast it would melt in front of a Dushka. Yeah, sure. I mean, it has to be fragile, though, because, I mean, it does so much else. It does so much else. And we've got a 250 half-track, so it's German infantry doctrine. How much is a 250 half-track, then? It's fucking 20 fuel! How is this 20 fuel? And the Americans get that truck? What? I grant you the 250 can take a hit or two and stay in the fight, and it can hold down and then take a couple more hits. But I still think, on balance, this is as useful. This unit provides as much value and utility as the WC-51, yet they are not costed the same. Okay. Well, he's going to lose that one as well. Turns out, if you park your vehicles in front of machine guns, they do not last. These light vehicles, not machine gun proof. Especially when that machine gun is 50 calibers big. Okay. Well, this game off to a wonky start. I mean, to a certain extent, I suppose. When you purchase light vehicles, be it a Kubelwagen or a M5 Scout car or a 222 even. Actually, you know what? No, not the 222. The 222 is actually quite survivable. But usually when you purchase these very early game Scout cars and light vehicle units, you do not anticipate them doing or surviving. You usually, if I buy a WC-51 or if I buy a 250 half-track and it's alive at the 10-minute mark, that's pretty much a win for me. I really don't expect those units to survive very long in the game at all. Same for Kubelwagens, really. If you're going to be using that Kubelwagen in fights, don't expect it to survive 10 minutes. Not really. I mean, it can with veterancy and correct micro. You definitely can, but on average, certainly when I'm commanding them anyway, not likely. Another 250 half-track. Oh no, he cancels it. Okay, interesting. So we almost had another 250 half-track there, but not going to be the case in the end. German infantry doctrine. Going to be doing German infantry doctrine things here. As the munitions pile in, veteran squad leader upgrades will be finishing up on these grenadiers. And 50 cal getting set up in a lovely position. Volley fire! I even forgot that's a thing. 20 munitions is going to be dumped into 2 rear echelon using volley fire. Well, that's definitely a thing that happened. Has volley fire been changed at all, by the way? I mean, I presume by the fact that I never see it that it hasn't been changed, but I mean, maybe it has been made better. It always used to be like... Well, there was a brief moment, I do remember a while ago, it was kind of OP, and then it got nerfed into the ground. It was ridiculous, actually, because, like, rear esh would just suppress your guys, and then riflemen would kill them, so you had to fall back. So volley fire was just a, hey, you have to fall back button, and that was too strong. So they nerfed it horribly, and then they nerfed it to the point where it kind of did nothing. Like, they'd be volley firing, and you'd be like, when are these dudes going to get suppressed? And the answer was, like, essentially never. So I don't know what position volley fire is in at the moment. I only assume by the fact that we never see it that it's still in a very sort of not very powerful state. And that's fine, okay? Rear esh are incredibly cheap and they do enough other things. We don't need them suppressing units in combat. I don't really know why volley fire is on them, if I'm honest. It just shouldn't be on that unit. So anyway, oh, yeah, 50. Oh,
Just got a report of an infantry unit being wiped out.
I just got a unit of an infantry unit. I just got a report, sorry, of an infantry unit getting wiped out. Okay. The thing is, all right, I can cast big potatoes. I can cast mistakes. Everyone can cast mistakes. I can go, you idiot! You lost your lieutenant. What a boob! What a fool! Check out this guy. But honestly, if I was to play a game right now on the Company of Heroes 2 ladder, you guys would tear me to shreds, and I would probably lose all of my units within 10 minutes because I'm really bad, and the pressure of playing on the stream would be like terrible. That's probably what would happen. So whilst I do point out players' mistakes, and whilst it is very easy casting, I just always like to occasionally point out that I am not completely immodest. I'm not entirely unhumble. I realise that this is a very difficult game, and even these two players are probably better than me because they're here playing the game, you know. At the height of my Company of Heroes 2 skill, and this is for real, I had 2 jobs. I had one job from 9 AM till 5 PM, and then I had a second job from 6 PM till 11 PM. So that's what? That's like 8 plus 6 to, so that's like 13 hours that I would literally be working. That's that doesn't, and then so, you know, in order for me to get 8 hours sleep and cook 3 meals and, you know, do all of the stuff like, you know, have a shower and get my life in order, that really didn't leave a lot of time spare. So, yeah, that was a lot. It was a very busy time in my life, but I needed the money and I didn't mind being busy. And even though I was very busy, I still enjoyed that time in my life a lot. It was great. But it didn't leave me much free time. But here's the thing. I had a choice in those days. I could either get 8 hours sleep, or it'd be like 7 hours, 45 minutes. And I'd wake up feeling tired, but at least I'd be able to go. Or I could set my alarm an hour early and have enough time for a Company of Heroes 2 game every day. So guess what I did? That was when I was playing Company of Heroes 2 properly. That literally, my alarm would go off, and I wouldn't even make myself a cup of tea. I would just get from my bed right to my computer, and then I'd just be alarm clock, boom, matchmaking, play. Like, that's what I would do for months. And that's how I got good at Company of Heroes 2. And I haven't been playing it that hard or doing that for years. So I'm not very good anymore. But trust me, if you do that, if you play 1 game a day as soon as you wake up, you'll get pretty good pretty fast. That's what I found. So I do this with all kinds of things, to be honest. I've noticed if I want to learn something, I just need to do it as soon as I get up. So when I was really learning how to play the drums, I would just get up and then sit on the drums and play for an hour and then get on with my day. Like, that's just... I guess it's just part of my routine somehow. It's just how I naturally function. Whatever I do, when I wake up, I just want to go and do something straight away. So I tend to do whatever it is I want to learn the hardest. And yeah, it was Company of Heroes 2 for a while. And good God, I was sleep deprived. But I was making a good amount of money, and I was getting good at Company of Heroes 2. So who needs sleep, eh? You know, let's focus on what's important in life. It certainly ain't sleep. God. Sleep's for noobs. I'll sleep when I'm dead. So anyway, we've got cavalry riflemen making a presence on this battlefield. The what are those things called again? Grease guns. Grease guns at the ready. Going to be upgrading to Tommies though. I wonder what the functional differences between a Tommy gun and a grease gun are. Hoy Jimmy 890! Bro, good to see you in chat. I mean, sorry, bro, there I go, assuming people's genders in 2020. It can't be done. Nice to see you in chat anyway, though. And we are indeed, as you can see, casting a game of yours. What do I do? That's a good question. I guess you mean for a career, like for money, right? Because that's what people mean when they ask that question. Well, at the moment, I manage property. I am a property manager. That's what I do. But over the years, I've done a lot of things. Property management is just what I'm doing at the moment. If there's one thing I've learned I love, especially when it comes to what I do for a living, it is change. I love change. So I've done all sorts, my friend. I've worked in biology. I've done a bit of science. I've worked in law. Done some lawyering. And I've worked on just all kinds of random stuff all over the place. Worked in the miniatures world, miniature wargaming. I've done some random things. I went and taught English in Japan. I worked at boarding schools in England. But yeah, at the moment I'm managing property. because managing property is not thrilling. It's not super exciting, but it does leave me enough free time to have a really fine knife, and that's valuable to me. So I am okay with doing something that I don't love doing if I don't have to do it that much, and then I get to do everything else that I want to do the rest of the time. That's fine by me. That's a decent equation. So you know, I was just saying as well, actually, I wonder what the functional differences are between a Tommy gun and a grease gun, right? Because my understanding is the Tommy gun is like quite an old design, right? They designed the Tommy gun before World War II, some time before, maybe even at the end of World War I or during World War I don't know. But the Tommy gun's like relatively old, right? Even in World War II. And then they wanted to mass produce them, and they came up with the design for the grease gun. Yeah, right. And the grease gun is like all made out. I've held a grease gun and I've looked at it, and I've had someone who's very knowledgeable explain to me the design, and it's very clever. The entire thing is essentially just pressed metal. Like almost all of it is just pressed metal, and that's very easy to manufacture. You can manufacture it quickly and cheaply, and clearly that's the design spec for the grease gun. But I wonder, in practice, what is the difference between the Tommy gun and the grease gun? Are they the same caliber even? The Tommy's a 45, right? Is the grease gun like a 9? Well, they didn't have 9mm back then, did they? I don't know. I wonder, are they the same caliber? And what are the relative differences in terms of fire rate, accuracy, and all of that kind of thing? I'd be very curious to know. Am I right in thinking as well? The Thompson is supposed to be unreasonably heavy and kicks too hard. Well, I mean, it is one of the world's first submachine guns, and for some reason they decided to make it a 45 caliber before they really understood much about submachine guns and recoil control. So that makes sense. And you know what though, the Tommy gun is quite heavy. I've held Tommy guns as well. They are heavy, and the ones I had, they had the stick mag, not the drum mag, and it still felt heavy. You know, you can't just like sling them around the place. You have to properly brace them up like that, because otherwise your arms get tired in like 2 seconds. I mean, I'm not a burly American soldier, but like, yeah. The grease gun is 45 caliber. Okay, cool. Yeah. So all right. So they do fire the same ammo. All right. And the Tommy gun has a faster RPM than the grease gun. Okay, cool. Sounds to me like I'd want the grease gun. I wonder if there's reliability issues with the grease gun in being made of just pressed metal. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that because it's cheap and mass-produced that there are reliability issues. It's just a different design. Often cheap and mass-produced actually is more reliable, depending, because a simple design can be incredibly reliable. Look at the AK-47, for example. But I'm just wondering... what the actual differences were between them. The grease gun had this crazy thing as well, where like it has no safety, which is weird for a gun. The safety is like whether or not the there's like an ejection port on the side, I think, something like that. I held it. I'm trying to remember. It's like when you're ready to fire. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you slide the top back to open the ejection port, and then the gun is ready to fire. And like that's it. There is no safety. If you are readying the gun to fire, that's it. It's on. Like you just and then it's ready to rock. And you have to slide that bit back, because otherwise the shell casings won't like. No, it wouldn't work. I think that's correct. Anyway, I don't know. It's been a couple of years since I had a look at that grease gun, so my memory's a little bit foggy. But anyway, I haven't commented very much on this game because Hoy Jimmy 890 is crushing it. This American player is shortly to be ground under the treads of double Panzer IV, and that's a rough place to be. Yeah, Dan, agree. It's not looking great for US. I mean, unfortunately, we've had a lot of squads hemorrhaged. The cavalry rifleman died. We've got 2 Zooks on the rear esh, and that is the extent of our anti-tank might, which will be insufficient to deal with double Panzer IV. That is a combined amount. That is 8 worth of Panzer. If you add that up, it's you know, I remember math. PZ4 plus PZ4 equals P squared Z squared 8, right? That's how that works. Oh no, because I've multiplied that. Sorry, it would be P squared Z squared 16. Yeah. So yeah, the Panzer IV just gibbing infantry like horrendously all over the place. It's a spicy unit. Panzer IVs, like clearly they're very, very, very good against infantry, aren't they? Well, you know what? It's more that they're dependable, but then there's just a little chance that they're going to roll a critical hit and kill everyone. And we've even seen that hit the Wehrmacht squads recently on the channel, so it's a double-edged sword for sure. How long are the queue times in Company of Heroes 2? Longer than you'd think, A-game, and it's not because of lack of players. It's because the matchmaking algorithm is quite weird, and also, remember, you cannot have mirror matches, insofar as you need an Axis and an allied player to be matched. So, yeah, sometimes you are waiting for a couple of minutes, but it's not too bad. Sometimes it's pretty quick as well. It depends. The other thing is, the player base in Company of Heroes 2 actually mostly kind of prefers team games, so often the queue times for 2v2 and above are actually quicker, which is weird. Alright, we got a rematch between Koz and Nico on Nexus. We're taking that one. So this is Tiramisu versus Nagano, the rematch. Nagano taking a handy win, and it's going to be Vermac versus UKF again as well, so let's see if, once we move away from Langaskaya, if Koz can have a little bit of a better chance out here. You have to hope. All right. Spawning in the west, playing as the Vermac pieces, it is going to be Tiramisu, going this time for a Ostrapan build. So, Tiramisu, yes, but I will be calling them Koz because that is the name on the screen, just so you know. And spawning on the east here on Nexus, it is going to be Nico, who is actually Nagano, playing as the UKF forces. But again, I'll be calling him Nico because that's what's on the screen. And amazingly, we're going to have Ostrapan, or Defensive Doctrine as it is, versus Royal Artillery Regiment. So fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen, that we might see a Valentine, and fingers and toes crossed that we might see a Sexton. I don't know. A Sexton's good. I don't even know what they do. I've never, ever cast one in the wild. I don't think I've even ever played with one. I just don't think I've ever seen a Sexton in Company of Heroes 2 ever. So there you go. 2 squads of Ostrapan, MG42, so far so Ostrapan here for Koz. And, you know, everybody's saying it, everybody's thinking it. Ostrapan are pretty goddamn good right now in the meta, so perhaps now that Tiramisu is going to be leaning on these Ostrapan, that they'll have a better chance, because we did just cast these 2 players on Langraskaya, and it did not look close. Tiramisu got crushed by Nagano, and I mean, there's no two ways about it. RTS games are not always close. You know, that's the thing about watching any competition. Sometimes it ain't close. Sometimes you can have the most hyped boxing match of all time, and it ends in round 1 with one guy asleep on the canvas. You know, sometimes these things happen. You know, in football, sometimes you get a 5-1 or a 5-0 or whatever. That's a great thing about competition. You never know what you're going to see, and that makes it exciting. So yeah, Nagano sort of stomping Tiramisu previously, but now the Ostrapan are on the field, and it's Defensive Doctrine as well, which I think is my favourite Ostrapan doctrine, because you get the Stug E, and the Stug E is power, and it's going to be quite good on maps like this, I feel. The Stug E just fits the right envelope of things for me. It's the correct cost insofar as it's very good value for money, and it's cheap. 75 fuel and what, 260 manpower. That is not an expensive unit. And it fires rapidly, and that is important when you're talking about an AoE sort of unit, because every shot fired is a chance to wipe infantry or rob an infantry squad of its momentum and force it to fall back. And when the game is about controlling victory points, which there are 3 victory points on the map which you would need to control, so this is one of those games, then being able to lob high explosive AoE attacks at a decent rate of fire onto those victory points actually makes the game very difficult for your opponent to win. And once you add on to that the fact that the Stuggy has very good veterancy that ups its efficiency in terms of damage dealt and durability and maneuverability, basically the things that you'd want from it, its veterancy provides. So I cannot help but love the Stuggy. Every time I've seen it recently, it has basically looked great. So what's not to love? Basically, if this doctrine was just Ostrapan and the Stuggy, that is powerful enough for me. I would probably still choose it over the Ostrapan doctrine. I know that sounds weird because the Ostrapan doctrine has a whole load of other stuff that's really good, but what it doesn't have is the Stug E, and I like the Stug E a lot at the moment. It's just great in the meta, I think. Now, you also get the Pack 43, which I actually don't like. I know it's a lot cheaper than it ever has been, but I just still don't like it. No Allied player is ever going to let you maintain a Pack 43 in a good position without just clicking on it with some sort of munitions dump or some sort of call-in. Allied players just have so many ways of calling in barrages, whether it's pyrotechnics packages or the Major or Su-85 Su-76 barrages or Zisgun barrages or incendiary artillery or mortar barrages, or you get the picture. Pack 43s are way too heavy of an investment to be that fragile, and so for me they're not really usable. I appreciate good players can use them well, and occasionally we see them look all right, but that's not good enough for me. So you also get the sector artillery, which is pretty good, to be honest. 200 munitions, so a decent munitions dump there, and it can be a bit of a shield for you, this one. You can just click on a sector and it just sort of flails away. Let me just have a look at this map. Yeah, so there are some good sectors you could pick here. Like, these cut-off sectors make for a really good shield or a way of keeping your opponent back if you choose those sectors. This sector too could be useful if you're trying to break mid and your opponent's units are sort of falling back through here. So, yep, lot to like about this commander. Lot to like about this commander on this map, according to me, at least. Going to be a Brenton carrier opening here, and that is exactly what Nagano did last time. For real though, Magpie, check out casual replays on the Deserts of Correct Discord. It's filled with replays and people would post more if they actually got cast. Alright. Cool. I mean, the problem for me, I got to level with you. The reason why I cast Company of Heroes 2 more than any other RTS, apart from the fact that I've probably played it more than most other RTSs and I really like it, is that you can just jump in to the live game lobby and spectate other people's games as they're happening. You can just do that. Most RTSs, you can't do that. StarCraft 2, can't do that. Deserts of Karak, can't do that. I can't just open the program and start watching whatever the best game on the ladder is. I can't do that. So that is why I keep coming back to Company of Heroes 2, because it's easy to cast. So yeah, if I can jump onto the Deserts of Karak Discord and grab some replays, that is a big step towards making that one easy to cast. That's a good idea, actually, A-game. Yeah, cast one Deserts of Karak game per stream. That's an interesting idea, yeah. Faust should handle the Universal Carrier now that Ostrippen are on the field. Yeah, probably, Datton. We'll see. Comes down to the micro, of course. You know, if Nico's paying a lot of attention and kiting nicely, you know, with the Vickers K, it can be pretty hard to get close enough to get the Fausts off. .222 going to be out here. This game looking so far pretty similar build-wise to what we saw on Langraskaya. What's not looking... Well, actually, no, of course, because we've got Ostrippen and Panzer Grenadiers, but what's not looking similar is the amount of map control that Koza's or Tiramisu is getting. Look at this. Absolutely dominating on the map. We got double fuel, and we are keeping our UK opponent onto income from just 3 regular points, so that's pretty rough, to be honest. And it's going to be on Nagano to try and break this what is becoming a bit of a soft lock here. Kind of all right, he's going to try and bust out to the south. UKF units do really want to connect up one of these fuel. You can't really be letting your Wehrmacht opponent get away with double fuel income for very long, or else things just start sliding out of hand. So it looks like Tommies will at least get the decap on that. Probably will even get the cap. Engineers moving in. They did see those... Oh, sorry, those are UKF mines. My bad. This composition looks so much better than anything Grenadier-based, I have to say. Look at this composition. Triple Ostrippen. MG42. I mean, I like a double MG42 myself, but I mean, there's still time for that. We're only 8 minutes in. Panzer Grenadiers dovetail with Ostrippen so well. They are everything that Ostrippen are not, and therefore between the two of them, you kind of have like all your bases covered. It's so great. You know, Panzer Grenadiers are elite. They have an amazing grenade. They have reasonable upgrades, and they just have synergies and things that Ostrippen just will never ever have because they're so different. And Panzer Grenadiers bring you all that in one nice tech-free package. It's so good. A game, I mean, yeah, sure, I'll probably get less viewers for casting Deserts of Karak, but I mean, this is Magpie we're talking about. I've never really been in it for the viewers. Like, it is nice having viewers, I won't lie. It's been really cool, and I've been amazed, and I really enjoy having a good viewership, and I love the support, and it's fun to engage with viewers and stuff. But, like, you know, getting subs and viewers and YouTube and followers and all that sort of thing, even on my YouTube channel, you know, it's never really been the name of the game. I just like casting RTS, and then everything else comes second, really. Probably that's a really bad thing. Like, if I took it a little bit more seriously, maybe I would have a much higher profile and stuff, but I don't really care. The streaming on Twitch has been the most serious I've ever taken it, because I've done some research, I've put together nice OBS stuff, and I've got all my transitions and everything working, and I've even got Twitter and everything integrated to it and stuff like that. But you know, one step at a time. I'm learning. We'll see. Oh, dude, Company of Heroes 3 and Homeworld 3, I will be casting the hell out of, mate. There's no way I'm not, unless they actually ban me, unless they give me a restraining order from those games. I am literally going to be smothering myself against them in ways that are inappropriate. Like, Homeworld 3, are you kidding me? I probably won't sleep for 72 hours when that game releases. I don't think I can imagine a more exciting release. Oh, nice bundle grenade. Jesus. Alright. Alright, Nico. You got yourself a fight here. Yeah, and I mean, the same for Company of Heroes 3. When that game comes out, I'm going to be on the ladder, I'm going to be casting it, I'm going to be doing as much as I can without actually breaking my wrists, which probably is less than I'd like. Okay, so we have to rebuy the Tommies. That is a setback for sure here for Nagano. Company command post... sorry. Oh no, he's going for a sniper. Okay. Oh, okay, alright. This is just a thing that Nagano likes doing then. This is now like 2 for 2 that we've seen the sniper come out. And there's nothing especially about this Axis composition that screams, hey, let's do a sniper. So, alright. With the Tommies rebuilt and the sniper coming in, I feel like Nagano has recovered from the loss of that Tommy squad. And it's now Koz who needs to adapt and who feels a little bit outmuscled and outgunned here. MG42 is nice to have, and Nexus, to be honest, is a really machine gunny map. It's so machine gunny because the entire midline of the map is just like, you can command it with machine guns very easily. So I feel like I would like to see some Vickers guns get added in here for Nagano as the game goes on. Panzer IV on the queue, of course. Support Armor Corps complete. And there's only the one 6-pounder right now for Nagano. I appreciate that the UKF sniper can technically hurt Panzers, but like, certainly with no veterancy, he's not really a credible threat. So we've got the 2 anti-vehicle grenades on the Welshman as well. But that's actually not really enough anti-tank resources to handle a Panzer IV. And I hope Nagano, for his sake, doesn't feel tempted to grab a Valentine, because that would play into this Panzer IV very well for Koz. Let's have a look here. Yeah, okay, so there we go. Command post, company command post just coming down. There it is. Okay, cool. So we will have Cromwell money when that finishes, if a Cromwell is what we want. Not convinced that it is. Bear in mind there are M6 mines around the place, but Koz has thrown a metal detector into the list. Going to see those mines. The 6-pounder lucky enough to catch the Panzer IV with its first shot as the Panzer IV just first emerges from fog of war, so it's a little annoying there for Koz. Ostrapen going to push forward here. One of them explodes under the crosshair of this 55 cal sniper.
Pioneers ready for assignment.
And Nico right now, double fuel, triple cap, looking to catch back up after having been behind in all of these ways in the early game. And that is nice. MG42 in mid will be very useful, though, for Coes. And it will be a Cromwell. So we're going to have another medium tank showdown here.
The sector has been cut off.
And it all comes down to exactly which angles and which supporting units are in play when the Cromwell takes on this Panzer IV. I imagine that Nagano will just send the Cromwell straight to where the Panzer IV is. But we'll see. Ooh, Telemines there. Be a bit careful. Because he was shooting at Tommies that were running over the Telemines whilst his Panzer IV was very close. You can accidentally shoot those Telemines and it's really annoying. 6-pounder here getting some nice hits. The Cromwell is out and the Panzer IV is on half health, so if the Cromwell can get up to this Panzer IV whilst it's still not repaired, that would be really good. He's going to fall it back to the pack gun though, and that does make sense. Here comes the Cromwell. Let's check the camo on this. Yep, some pretty nice camo there. Alright, and he gets a nice engage onto this Panzer IV, but the pack gun is here. Now he has to decide, do I commit or not? Yeah, he has to fall back. That's the right decision. Going to preserve the Cromwell here. Staying to put some damage onto this MG42 team is nice. Pioneer's setting up telemines, though, around the map. And that's also... Oh, sorry, no, that's an S minefield. My bad. They will get interrupted by some Tommies here. And Koz has taken back a decent amount of map control now, most notably off the clock. The scoreline, a slight lead for Wehrmacht, but I mean, that is basically no difference at this stage in the game. 15.5 minutes. As the Cromwell just sharking around looking for targets of opportunity. The Panzer IV being repaired, likewise probably about to start patrolling for targets. Looks like the Cromwell here going to be used to drive a wedge through this minefield, but oh god, the Tommies are coming in. That is brave. Jesus. Can you imagine being told to advance behind a tank through a minefield? That would be terrifying. What if there was just a mine that the tank didn't get or something? Christ. War is hell. War is hell. Bundle grenade! Oh, it's that one's not going to pay off. It would be nice if it was 2 for 2 there for Koz, but it's not going to be. Triple cap established for UKF for a moment here. Another Cromwell! Okay. Not sure about that Cromwell. I guess it makes sense. Let's just quickly check the tech. Alright, no sign of Battle Phase 3. Okay, I feel a bit better about the Cromwell knowing that there's no sign of Battle Phase 3. UKF sniper getting chased away here. Look how respectful these two players are, though. Nobody overcommitting. Both of them know that this game is finely balanced right now. This is almost a precisely balanced game. Look at the top left, look at the top right. These armies are precisely balanced. I suppose with the arrival of the second Cromwell, Nagano has a slight advantage once again, but like not so big of an advantage that you can just sort of commit and then forget. Like, this is going to come down to the decisions and the positioning ahead of these next engagements. But now the second Cromwell is out, and probably Nagano will be looking to try and take a fight here. Pack gun's going to come forward to try and counter the Cromwell that reveals itself. Now the second Cromwell will reveal itself. I wish UKF could get a mortar squad. I feel like a mortar squad is the missing piece of this composition. But you've already picked on the Royal Artillery Regiment, so no mortar squad for you, my friend. Royal Engineers going to try and defuse these telemines, but they won't be able to. Panzer Grenadiers see them off, but at least he knows that the mines are there now. He's unlikely to forget that. I mean, it's the Ostrapen and the Stug-E, I reckon. Because if it was just the Ostrapen, people would take the Ostrapen Doctrine. So I do think it's the Ostrapen and the Stug-E. It's literally just those two things. It is the combination. And kind of the Sector Artillery later on, because I mean, it's not useless, is it? You will use it if you have the munitions, and it looks like it's the thing to do. But yeah, I mean, literally, it's just the it's like 80, 15, 5 Ostripon, Stuggy, Sector Artillery. Like that's the value of this commander. The Pack 43 and the defensive fortifications, I don't really rate, though I could be wrong. The ammo expenditure on the Ostripon Doctrine is the Sector Artillery, mate. 200 munitions. Alright, so hang on, those are airburst fragmentation rounds, right? Does that mean he's gone for Anvil? No? Oh, the concentration barrage just uses... It just uses the airbursting frag shells. Okay, cool. Oh, on the Ostripon Doctrine, sorry. It's railway artillery. Alright, things getting a bit close here. UKF Sniper doing his best to try and control these Panzer Grenadiers. The Panzer IV... Wait, what happened to the Panzer IV? Oh Christ, I totally missed the Panzer IV dying. What the... Where did the Panzer IV die? Clearly it was on my screen. It always is on my screen. I was probably just looking at chat and then missed the whole fight involving a Panzer IV dying. Good God. Well, this is why we cast so often. I can only get better, right? That's what experience does. I am a sentient learning engine. Yeah, Sector Artillery is a pretty big choice, reason. It is definitely better than the Railway Artillery. But the Ostripon Doctrine does give you that weird supply drop thing as well, where you get like 10 fuel and like 50 munitions and like an MG34. So like that can be useful. It's like situational, but it can be useful. I think if the Ostripon Doctrine like had the Stug-E though, people would take that one. So anyway, look at this game. It's so close, so close. Comrade Strelok. I've seen you around somewhere before. Maybe on the Relic forums? You ring a bell, sir. Anyway. Players usually forget to actually use the Sector Artillery. Yeah, sometimes. Sector Artillery in high level 1v1 is pretty useless. I mean, yeah, it is kind of useless, but I have seen it actually provide some utility. Oh, I've cast your games. There we go. I knew your name was familiar. Strelok. I remember that. I know where Strelok comes from. Strelok was a playable character in Quake 3 Arena. Quake 3 Arena. Strelok... Oh, no, wait. Am I thinking... I think Strelok was a playable character. No. That was Sorlag. Okay, no, maybe not. Maybe not. Anyway, yeah, the way I have used... it's a character from the Stalker games. Ah, there you go. That's where it comes from. Yeah, the way I have seen Sector Artillery be useful in high-level 1v1, right? For example, right, let's say that the Axis player is fighting here and then loses a fight, and then they fall back and use Sector Artillery here, and it kind of makes like a shield, and it can buy you enough time to like reform your line and regroup your units. So I've seen it used as a defensive shield, but I grant you, that is a pretty crazy way of using, what, 200 munitions. So yeah, it's not great. It's not great. In fact, it's not even good. Relic needs to standardize sandbag. Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's kind of crazy that there's like 10 different, or like maybe, I don't know, there's quite a few different sandbag type things in the game, depending on which infantry squad from which faction built them, and it's weird. I give you, it's weird. Strelok is a Russian word, and it does pop up in a lot of games, yeah. So what's Strelecki then? Is that like shooty guy or something? Or because I think, is it Strelecki? Because in like that, there's a lot of infantry in Steel Division and other games, Russian infantry called like Strelecki, I think. I don't know. My Russian is turbo weak, borderline non-existence. Strelecki is the multiple of Strelok. Well, there we go. Cool. Thank you.
Hammer skills are being readied.
You don't think that they should allow mainline infantry to build sandbag? But that's part of the appeal of mainline infantry. Anyway. Ostripon can build... Can Ostripon build sandbags? Jesus Christ, they can. The more I learn about Ostripon, the more I'm like, why do people ever not use Ostripon? They're so good. Anyway, Cromwell's marauding through the countryside here. Patgun going to get caught out. The Cromwell in the south gets donked, so has to fall back to repair the engine. But this Cromwell's still pushing. Wants the Patgun. Oh, it doesn't quite get it. We'll get it there. Second Patgun here to cover. The Panzer IV as well. That's going to be too much to advance into. So Nagano has to respect for now, but grabbing a ton of ground in the north, looking to establish a triple cap. Ko's already trailing by about 45 tickets, going to be trailing by a few more by the time the dust settles on this last phase of play. Nagano taking a pretty sick engage, to be honest, and Ko's kind of on thin ice. I mean, the whole time it's been one Panzer IV against two Cromwell, and every time it looks like another Panzer IV might arrive, the last Panzer IV died. So it looks like Battle Phase 3 is done, Heavy Panzer Corps is done, so those are some advantages there for Ko's. Obviously, you get the reduced reinforcement cost and the increased cap speed, so that's useful. Comet on the queue, though. For Nagano, the fuel income has been favouring the allied player this game, and yeah, it's going to be a Comet. Now, Ko's does have fuel, so what's the choice here? Panther or Brumbar or Panzerwerfer? I feel like it basically has to be a Panther, doesn't it? Because you know your opponent already has two medium tanks, which you are frankly struggling to deal with. And your opponent is probably only going to be spending fuel on a Comet. And the only thing that really helps there is the Panther. I mean, the Brumbar, no. The Panzerwerfer, no. So I think it has to be Panther. That's my feeling right now.
Damned enemies trying to take a point from us.
I think conscripts need sandbags, because conscripts, there are so many alternatives. Like, they're one of the only things that keeps me building conscripts is the fact that they can build sandbags. Otherwise, I would just use guards and other troops.
There's a comet. One of our anti-tank guns is gone.
What buttoned that vehicle? That was crazy. He like buttoned a vehicle for a second. Anyway, he gets both of the AT guns, but he's going to lose the Panzer IV for it. I'm not sure if that's worth it. Bundle grenade coming into a nice position. Royal Engineers! Oh, God! Okay, it wasn't a squad wipe. It just looked like a squad wipe. There was a surviving member somewhere else. Massive fight coming down here. So many UKF tanks inflicting crucial damage. Oh, wow. Ko's is getting absolutely smoked here. And the saturation perimeter overwatch comes down. Look at the map. German units be exploding. This is 225 munitions for just intense amounts of fire. The Pak 40 will get picked off. There's just too many UKF tanks here, but it's not like this was free for Nagano. He lost, I feel like he lost, what, a Tommy squad or like Tommies and Royal Engineers? I don't know, this infantry roster looks a little smaller. Ostripan on the chopping block, the focus fire is, and Ko's is going to GG. Yeah, because that is over. My God, Nagano there, coming through with a sort of neck snap maneuver. There was a bubble of strength when that Comet arrived, and when he knew he'd have 3 tanks to his opponent's 1. If you can get up on top of the AT guns, then you basically win, because that is just too much armor and your opponent cannot deal with it. And that is what happened. Nagano correctly assessing that there was a killing moment up for grabs there, and executing correctly to destroy the life of Ko's or Tiramisu in this game. Nicely done. Ostripan for all their strengths. I mean, let's be real, actually. It wasn't Ostripan that lost this game, was it? The Ostripan looked amazing. It was kind of really the Panzer IV, the first Panzer IV. Once we lost that one, Ko's actually just never really got back in the game. Like, Nagano is such a good player. You can't just let him have a Panzer IV. He'll stack that advantage and not give it back to you until it's time to win the game. And yeah, that's a rough place to be in. So yeah, Tiramisu suffering a couple of losses to at the hands of Nagano on the ladder today, at least in the games that I cast. But no doubt we'll be only getting faster, stronger, and learning from these battles for sure. 26 minutes 30, a relatively rapid affair as well for a Nexus game. But yeah, Nagano just demonstrating sublime composition and decision making and killer instinct. And I mean, was the Royal Artillery Regiment that pivotal? I feel like so we saw concentration barrage like one time. And it was good, actually. And then we saw the perimeter overwatch, and good God, that's quite good, isn't it? For 2 minutes for it to be raining 25-pound shells. That's quite good. That's value. So, yeah, there we have it. Another great game. Another great game. Nagano looking so strong at the moment. An absolute monster. Okay. Oops. Come on. What's going on there? Ah, there we go. Cool. Alrighty, welcome back to a picture of my face. So it's Friday, isn't it? It is Friday. Jesus. So it's still I'm still in lockdown. I know that the regulations are relaxing and things like that, but I mean personally, I'm still doing lockdown. So the days do sort of blend together a little bit. All right, we'll take that. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. That's going to conclude this Midday Magpie. We've been up for 3¼ hours now. Well, really 3 hours because I was playing Magic. Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate everybody tuning in. This has been hilarious. We're going to stream again at midday on Monday, so that's 1100 hours GMT. And then after that, probably we're going to do some evening streams on Wednesday and Friday. But I'll announce the details of that on Monday after I've had a good chance to think about it. Thank you once again to everybody in chat. You're all legends. We have the best chat here. So much awesome tactical discussion and just good points being made, and I really enjoy it. It's great. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning into chat. Yep, goodbye, everybody. Thank you very much. I'm going to host controversially, perhaps. I'm going to host Helping Hands because I kind of think he's awesome. So I have a good time with Helping Hands. So we're going to go and raid him. Thanks very much, everybody. Enjoy your weekend wherever you are, and I will catch you for Midday Magpie on Monday.
The first 2 rounds. And if I'm going to stream it, I'm going to need to have my camera